Chapter 646. Time always passed quickly during cultivation. In the blink of an eye, 100 days had passed since Mo Qingyun had been cultivating in the five-directional small tower. In these 100 days, Mo Qingyun had refined all the elixir ingredients that could increase his soul power into elixirs. With the help of these elixirs, Mo Qingyun's soul power finally reached the peak of the late fifth seal stage. At this moment, Mo Qingyun took another elixir that could increase his soul power in the time-shifting formation of the five-directional small tower. This was the last pill he had on him that could increase his soul force. As soon as the elixir entered his mouth, it turned into a pure elixir soul power that rushed into Mo Qingyun's sea of consciousness. Sensing the elixir soul power rushing into his sea of consciousness, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He immediately activated the soul power in his sea of consciousness to refine the elixir soul power in his sea of consciousness. As Mo Qingyun refined the elixir soul power, his soul power immediately became more condensed and completely transformed into a solid form. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately began to shape the shape of the soul power in his sea of consciousness. Immediately, Mo Qingyun's soul power in his sea of consciousness transformed into the shape of a palace under his continuous shaping. The process of shaping the soul power into a divine palace lasted for several days before Mo Qingyun stopped. At this moment, the soul power in his sea of consciousness had completely transformed into the shape of a palace. As Mo Qingyun's soul power successfully transformed into the shape of a palace, his aura suddenly increased. His soul power had successfully broken through to the divinity realm. My soul power has finally broken through to the divinity realm. Seeing that his soul power had broken through to the divinity realm, Mo Qingyun immediately became ecstatic and excited. Now that his soul power had broken through to the divinity realm, he could set up more advanced formations. However, before Mo Qingyun could rejoice, his face was filled with shock. At this moment, Mo Qingyun was shocked to find that a pure origin energy was escaping from the light gate martial soul. As soon as this origin energy appeared, it rushed into his divine palace and quickly merged with his divine palace. The power of the origin from the light gate martial soul has merged with my divine palace? Seeing this, Mo Qingyun was really shocked. He was surprised by this scene. However, before Mo Qingyun could recover from the shock in his heart, the shock on his face became even more intense. He realized that the 9 different elemental powers that he had comprehended began to gather in the divine palace and slowly merge with the divine palace. After the 9 elemental powers fused with the divine palace, they were assimilated by the divine palace's origin energy and gradually transformed into the 9 elemental origin energy. Seeing such an abnormal situation, Mo Qingyun suddenly felt that his thoughts were not enough. He did not know how to describe his feelings. Even with his experience as a supreme being in his previous life, he had never seen such a scene before. If he had not experienced it himself, Mo Qingyun would not have believed that this was real. If this was the case, wouldn't his soul power attack be able to easily crush other people's soul attacks? I didn't expect the light gate martial soul to have such an ability. After calming himself down, Mo Qingyun revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. He sighed and said, "The light door martial spirit is becoming more and more unfathomable to me." At this moment, Mo Qingyun attributed this abnormal situation to the light gate martial soul. At the same time, Mo Qingyun became more curious about the origin of the light gate martial soul. What is the origin of the light gate martial soul? Why does it have such a powerful ability? After pondering for a while, Mo Qingyun stopped thinking about it. With a serious expression, he said to himself, "My soul cultivation has just broken through to the divinity realm. My divine palace is not very stable yet. I need to stabilize it a little more." Then, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and began to cultivate to stabilize his divine palace. Outside the Valley of 1,000 Worlds, At this moment, while Mo Qingyun was stabilizing his soul cultivation, Feng Huai and the others became anxious when they saw his ranking dropping. What's going on? It's been 10 days. Why hasn't Qin Yun's points changed? Supreme Elder, what do you think? Could Qin Yun be in danger? Yes. Otherwise, how could his points not have increased at all in more than 10 days? At that moment, the elders of the Mao Talisman sect all revealed worried expressions as they looked to Feng Huai beside them. Everyone, don't worry. Qin Yun's name hasn't changed. This means that his life isn't in danger. Feng Huai had a serious expression when he heard the words of the people around him. He comforted them and said, "In my opinion, he might be cultivating to make a breakthrough. That's why he's been delayed for a while." Hearing Feng Huai's words, the expressions of the elders of the Mao Fu sect immediately relaxed. According to Feng Huai's explanation, it made sense. It was very likely that Mo Qingyun was cultivating in seclusion to increase his cultivation. Otherwise, if Mo Qingyun wasn't injured, why didn't he kill a single demonic beast? Making a breakthrough? Hearing Feng Huai and the others' words, the elders of the Shu Fu sect immediately gloated and said proudly, "Don't be too optimistic. It's better to be mentally prepared. Otherwise, you won't be able to take the blow when you lose a genius disciple." Judging from the behavior of the elders of the Shu Fu sect, it was obvious that they wanted others to be like them. Fellow from the Shu Talisman sect, you better watch your words. Qin Yun will not be the same as your sect's disciples. Hearing Yu Xinshin's words, Elder Su's face immediately filled with anger as he spoke in a displeased tone. "Haha, is that so?" One of the elders of the Shu Fu sect sneered when he heard Elder Su's words. He pointed at the ranking board and said, "Elder, before you say that, you should look at the ranking board first. Mo Qingyun's name has disappeared from it. Mo Qingyun's name has disappeared from the ranking board. This means that he's most likely dead." Another elder of the Shu Talisman sect had a gloating smile on his face as he said to Feng Huai and the others, neighbors of the Mao Talisman sect, "In my opinion, you should all go back and prepare for the funeral. Bah, nothing good comes out of your mouths. Your own sect disciples are all dead, and you still have the mood to stay here and gloat." Elder Su immediately stood up when he heard the words of the elders of the Shu Fu sect. He glared at Yu Xinshin and the others and said, "If I were you, I would have gone back to my sect and cried to take care of my dead disciple's funeral." The elders of the Shu Fu sect were furious when they heard Elder Su's words. Elder Su's words had hit their sore spot. I like to see how long you can be happy. Chapter 647. While the Mao Talisman sect and the Shu Talisman sect were arguing, Mo Chung and the rest were shocked when they saw Mo Qingyun's name disappear from the light screen ranking. There were only two possibilities for Mo Qingyun's name to disappear from the light screen ranking. The first possibility was that Mo Qingyun's ranking had fallen out of the top 1,000. The other possibility was that Mo Qingyun was dead. However, no one saw Mo Qingyun's name on the light screen ranking. Hence, the second possibility was less likely. Mo Qingyun's ranking has fallen out of the ranking. Mo Qing's expression tensed up when he saw Mo Qingyun's name fall out of the ranking. He was worried as he said in a deep voice, "What's wrong with him? Why hasn't his points increased after more than 10 days? Is he being chased by a powerful demonic beast and is trapped somewhere? We can't rule out this possibility. Let's hope nothing happens to him. Elders, why don't we inform the sect grand elders to take action and rescue that little fellow? That's not good. Once this happens, the 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering will be unfair." What fairness? The 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering is meant to select the most talented disciples. Now that there is a talented disciple, we will naturally give him special treatment. That's right. I will inform the sect's grand elders now. Jin Wan and the rest's expressions turned grave when they heard Mo Cheng's words. Their faces were filled with worry. At the same time, Elder Jin Wan took out her communication jade token and contacted the Golden Talisman sect's grand elders. Upon seeing Jin Wan's actions, The expressions of Mo Chung and the rest turned solemn as they nervously looked at Jinwan. A moment later, Jinwan kept her communication jade token. Her expression turned grave as she said, "Just now, our sect's Grand Elder Jin Jishin used the Seven Treasures Sky peeking mirror to check the Myriad World Valley. He said that Mo Qingyun was not in the Myriad World Valley." Mo Chung and the rest were stunned when they heard Jin Wan's words. They were stunned. There was no sign of Mo Qingyun in the Myriad World's Valley. Could it be that Mo Qingyun was really dead? The moment this thought appeared in everyone's minds, everyone fell silent. From this, it seemed that the situation they were most worried about had happened. Could it be that the heavens are jealous of geniuses? After a moment of silence, Mo Chung revealed a sorrowful expression and could not help but sigh. Sigh. Hearing Mo Cheng's words, Jin Wan and the rest sighed again as they revealed looks of pity. At this moment, Jin Wan and the others felt pity in their hearts, and their expressions became heavy. Within the Myriad World Valley, has he fallen out of the top 1,000? Seeing that Mo Qingyun's name had disappeared from the top 1,000, the Invincible Blade's expression immediately became serious. He sighed and said, "It's lonely at the top. It's hard to find an opponent. Could it be that in this year's Myriad Talisman Immortal Gathering, I can only associate myself with these mediocre people?" At this moment, the Invincible Blade's face revealed a disappointed expression as a lonely aura exuded from his body. Compared to the Invincible Blade's feelings, Zhu Jinlan and the rest were overjoyed when they saw that Mo Qingyun's name had fallen out of the top 1,000. "Kid, it seems like you're only SOSO. I have overestimated you previously." Zhu Jinlan had a look of disdain on his face. After saying those words of disdain, he said in a disdainful tone, "So you're just a piece of trash with nothing but talent. You've really wasted your talent. No wonder you're only at the 5th seal realm. Kid, consider yourself lucky to have died under the claws of a demonic beast." Cho Jianfeng's expression was dark as he coldly uttered those words. His expression turned even darker as he continued. "However, even if you die in the 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering, I will not let you off. After the 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering is over, I will go and destroy your sect." Sigh. There is no good show. This kid is too useless. Lu Chao revealed a look of disappointment as he sighed in his heart. It's good that he is dead. Now, I don't have to be distracted by such a small fry. Yuan Ba revealed a cold smile as he revealed a carefree expression. At this moment, while everyone was paying attention to Mo Qingyun, at this moment, in the 5-directional small pagoda, Mo Qingyun opened his eyes with a look of joy. After a few days of cultivation, his cultivation had finally stabilized at the initial stage of the divinity realm. Not only that, but he also took advantage of these few days to condense another seal, which allowed him to advance to the 6 seal's great symbol master. Now that there are no elixirs to increase my soul power, I am afraid that it will be impossible to continue to increase my soul cultivation quickly. Mo Qingyun revealed a look of contemplation. After pondering for a while, he had a plan in his heart. Next, it is time to convert the ultimacy power in my body into might power. At the same time, I will also increase my origin power cultivation. With this in mind, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He immediately began to refine the surrounding 5-colored river and convert it into his ultimacy power. Mo Qingyun's ultimacy power had already reached the level of perfection. In fact, he only needed an opportunity to upgrade it to might power. The source of power in the 5-colored river was such an opportunity. It could allow Mo Qingyun's ultimacy power to upgrade easily. Next, Mo Qingyun borrowed the source of power in the 5-colored river to upgrade his ultimacy power to might power. In the blink of an eye, a month had passed in the 5-directional small pagoda. The 5 types of might power of gold, wood, water, fire, and earth turned into 5 streams of colorful streamers that surrounded Mo Qingyun's body, emitting a mysterious power. After a month of hard work, Mo Qingyun finally converted the ultimacy power of gold, wood, water, and earth into might power. Sensing the 5 types of might power outside his body, Mo Qingyun immediately revealed a joyful expression. He was very satisfied with the cultivation progress. The 5 elements' ultimacy power has finally been upgraded to might power. Mo Qingyun revealed a pleasantly surprised expression when he sensed the advancement of his 5 elemental profundities, and he said excitedly, "Since my 5 elemental profundities have been upgraded to 5 elemental might, then it's time to increase my cultivation." With this in mind, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He immediately took out a large number of elemental spirit stones and piled them around him. The 5-element spirit body was unsealed. After taking out the elemental spirit stones, Mo Qingyun unsealed the 5-element spirit body and began to refine the elemental spirit stones around him to upgrade his origin power. As Mo Qingyun unsealed the 5-element spirit body, streams of origin power were extracted from the elemental spirit stones and quickly entered his body. The 5-element spirit body is indeed worthy of its name. It can actually extract origin power from the elemental spirit stones on its own. Seeing the scene in front of him, Mo Qingyun immediately revealed an ecstatic expression. He was surprised by the power of the 5-element spirit body. After a short moment of surprise, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated. He fully operated the origin power in his body to devour and refine the origin power that gathered around him. Chapter 648. As Mo Qingyun continued his cultivation, time passed by bit. In the blink of an eye, 2 months had passed since Mo Qingyun had fallen out of the top 1,000. In these 2 months, Mo Qingyun's name was like a flash in the pan, completely disappearing from the top 1,000. Supreme Elder, it's been 2 months. Could something have happened to Qingyun? That's right. Even if he was cultivating in seclusion, it shouldn't have taken more than 2 months. If something really happened to Qingyun, should we inform Senior Liu and the others? At this moment, the elders of the Mao Fu sect all had worried expressions on their faces. Even Feng Huai had a worried expression on his face when he heard the words of the people around him. At this moment, Feng Huai started to doubt his guess that Mo Qingyun was cultivating. It had been 2 months, but Mo Qingyun still hadn't entered the top 1,000. This was too abnormal. One had to know that Mo Qingyun had previously entered the top 500. In that case, if Mo Qingyun had been delayed by his cultivation, he should have returned by now. Seeing the expressions of Feng Huai and the others, the people of the Shufu sect sneered and gloated. People from the Mao Talisman sect, it would appear that your sect's genius, Mo Qingyun, has met with a disaster. It's not just doomed. His corpse might have even rotted. Otherwise, why hasn't there been any movement from him in the past 2 months? Trash will always be trash. No matter how talented he is, it's useless. In my opinion, Zhou Qing is the real dark horse. That's right. Zhou Qing is the real prodigy. Ever since he entered the top 1,000, his ranking has been rising rapidly. Look, Zhou Qing's ranking has changed again. He has entered the top 10. At this moment, the people of the Shufu sect were mocking Feng Huai and the others. Zhou Qing had entered the top 10. Hearing the words of the Shu Talisman sect, Feng Huai and the others' expressions immediately changed. They turned to look at the ranking on the screen. First place, Invincible Blade, points, 223,288,450. Second place, Zhu Jinlan, 189,654,600 points. Third place, Yuan Ba, 188,837,845 points. Fourth place, Chou Jianfeng, 165,329,355 points. Fifth place, Lu Chao, 156,823,860 points. 10th place, Zhou Qing, points 104,235,325. At this moment, Feng Huai and the others saw everyone's points on the light screen. Zhou Qing's points have also broken through 100 million. Seeing Zhou Qing's points, Feng Huai's expression changed, and a sense of awe towards Zhou Qing rose in his heart. Being able to break through 100 million points undoubtedly meant that Zhou Qing's talent was extremely high. He was close to being invincible in the same realm. While Feng Huai and the others were paying attention to Zhou Qing's points, the people outside the myriad worlds were also paying attention to the changes in Zhou Qing's points. Zhou Qing is so strong. His points have also broken through 100 million points. It seems like he will be the dark horse of this year's Myriad Talisman Immortal Gathering. However, the gap between him and Invincible Blade is not small. Invincible Blade will definitely be the champion of this year's Myriad Talisman Immortal Gathering. It is said that Zhou Qing has an extremely high status in the Eight Seals sect, Wild Talisman sect. He seems to be the direct descendant of a Supreme Elder. This Zhou Qing is the true genius. Not only is his talent strong, but his background is also extremely powerful. Mo Qingyun is far from him. Don't compare Mo Qingyun with Zhou Qing. Mo Qingyun is just a clown. I suspect that he is already dead. Seeing Zhou Qing's strong rise, the people subconsciously compared him with Mo Qingyun. This Zhou Qing is not bad. We can nurture him well. Seeing Zhou Qing enter the top 10, Mo Cheng and the others smiled faintly and praised him. However, after praising him, Mo Cheng's expression turned solemn. He sighed inwardly. That Mo Qingyun is really pitiful. I wonder how he is now. I hope that he is fine. Hearing Mo Cheng mention Mo Qingyun, the expressions of Jin Wan and the rest by the side froze as their expressions became much heavier. 2 months had already passed. Mo Qingyun still did not have any performance. It seemed like he was most likely dead. Otherwise, with the strength that Mo Qingyun displayed at the beginning, it was impossible for him to not be able to return to the top 1,000. Within the 5-directional small pagoda, 2 months had passed in the outside world. In the 5-directional small pagoda, 10 times the time in the outside world, 20 months had already passed. Peak of the early 6th stage of the Dan Palace. At this moment, Mo Qingyun, who was in the middle of cultivation, opened his eyes in ecstasy. He was very satisfied with his cultivation progress. In 20 months, his cultivation had broken through 5 realms. If such a cultivation speed were to spread out, it would probably shock many people. Although my cultivation has increased by 5 realms, it has consumed 100 billion elemental spirit stones. Such a consumption is simply too great. Seeing that there was not a single elemental spirit stone left in his Chinquan bag, Mo Qingyun revealed a bitter smile and said, "The 9-pill heavenly art has condensed 9 great Dan palaces. Although the amount of elemental energy in my body is far greater than others, the amount of elemental energy required to raise my cultivation is also far greater than others. It seems like there are 2 sides to everything. Since my cultivation has increased to the 6th stage of the Dan Palace, it's time to cultivate the martial arts secret manual." After sorting out his emotions, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately prepared to cultivate the martial arts secret manual to increase his fighting strength. Otherwise, with his elemental energy cultivation, without the martial arts secret manual, he would be like a tiger without claws and fangs. With my current cultivation, I should be able to cultivate the 2nd style of the legacy martial art, Demon Fist Shattering Milky Way. With this thought, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately began to cultivate the 2nd style of the Demon Fist Shattering Milky Way, Inaction Heaven Concealing Finger. The Inaction Heaven Concealing Finger was a finger technique that was based on the 1st style of the Shaozi Heavenly Spirit Finger. Thus, Mo Qingyun's current cultivation of the Inaction Heaven Concealing Finger was not as difficult as the Shaozi Heavenly Spirit Finger. Pointing out with his finger, Mo Qingyun's finger immediately emitted an obscure aura, giving people a feeling that it was dispensable. However, Mo Qingyun could clearly feel that the power of his finger was at least several times stronger than the Shaozi Heavenly Spirit Finger. At this moment, Mo Qingyun was confident that under his finger, even a Heaven Dipper Stage 1 expert would not be able to withstand it. More importantly, The aura of the inaction heaven concealing finger was obscure, making it easy for people to underestimate it. This way, under the element of surprise, the inaction heaven concealing finger's power would be stronger by a few notches. The inaction heaven concealing finger is so strong. After discovering this, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with ecstasy and excitement. Chapter 649. As Mo Qingyun continued to practice the inaction heaven concealing finger, his mastery of the inaction heaven concealing finger became increasingly proficient. Explode. At this moment, Mo Qingyun pointed his finger in front of him. A dim shadow of a finger flashed across his hand. Then, an aura that could make a heaven starboarder stage 1 expert pale in fright erupted from the 5-directional pagoda, setting off a terrifying force storm. Invisible and formless, the inaction heaven concealing finger has finally reached the great accomplishment stage. Seeing the might of his finger, Mo Qingyun immediately revealed an ecstatic expression. He was pleasantly surprised by his cultivation progress. The inaction heaven concealing finger has reached the great accomplishment stage. Next, it's time to practice the 5-directional heaven breaking technique. Seeing that the inaction heaven concealing finger had reached the great accomplishment stage, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately comprehended the 5-directional heaven breaking technique in his mind. As the latter part of the 5-directional heaven breaking technique was sealed by the 5-directional masters, Mo Qingyun could only see the first part. The first stage of the 5-directional heaven breaking technique, Sky Flames Halberd. The first stage of the 5-directional heaven breaking technique is a halberd technique. Seeing the first stage of the 5-directional heaven breaking technique, Mo Qingyun was pleasantly surprised. He was a little surprised by this situation. He really didn't expect that the first stage of the 5-directional heaven breaking technique was a martial arts secret manual that used a halberd as a weapon. If this is the case, after I practice the 5-directional heaven breaking technique, I can unleash the true power of the scorching halberd. After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun immediately became excited and began to practice the first stage of the 5-directional heaven breaking technique, the Sky Flames Halberd. Because the 5-directional heaven breaking technique's martial arts rank was not lower than the demon fish shattering Star River. Therefore, Mo Qingyun still had some difficulty in practicing it. He needed to slowly explore and familiarize himself with it. He couldn't practice it like the inaction heaven concealing finger. Mo Qingyun held the scorching flame halberd in his hand and repeated the mantra of the sky-breaking halberd over and over again. At this moment, Mo Qingyun's movements were extremely slow. It was as if he was a child who had just learned how to walk and was getting familiar with the steps. However, if one observed carefully, one could see that every time Mo Qingyun swung the scorching halberd, the power of the scorching halberd in his hand became stronger. As time passed, the image of a dragon slowly materialized on the blazing flame halberd in Mo Qingyun's hand, exuding a faint dragon might. Perhaps because it was too weak, it didn't attract Mo Qingyun's attention. Afterwards, as Mo Qingyun continued to practice, the dragon image became more and more solid, and its aura became more and more powerful. This is as the dragon shadow's aura continued to grow stronger. Mo Qingyun noticed its existence and revealed a look of pleasant surprise. This is the artifact spirit. The artifact spirit of the scorching flame halberd has been awakened. Could it be that when I refine this heavenly flames halberd technique, I can strengthen the artifact spirit of the Moxibustion flame halberd? As soon as this thought sprouted in Mo Qingyun's mind, he became excited. He found it hard to believe. A martial arts secret manual that could strengthen the weapon spirit was too heaven-defying. However, when he thought about his identity as the master of the 5 forces, Mo Qingyun felt relieved. It was understandable that a powerful existence like the master of the 5 forces could create such a martial arts secret manual. This way, as long as I continue to practice the Sky Flames halberd, The weapon spirit of the scorching halberd will become stronger until it fully recovers. As soon as he thought about how the scorching halberd could regain its power, Mo Qingyun became excited and looked forward to it. When the scorching halberd was at its peak, even a transcendent realm expert might not be its match. This showed how terrifying the scorching halberd's power was at its peak. Then, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immersed himself in his cultivation. As such, time passed by slowly as Mo Qingyun cultivated tirelessly. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. Roar! Mo Qingyun casually swung his halberd, and a crimson dragon image erupted from the halberd. It exuded a violent aura of a flame dragon. After realizing this, Mo Qingyun was overjoyed. He was pleasantly surprised by the power of his attack. The scorching halberd's weapon spirit has only recovered 10% of its power, but a casual attack from the scorching halberd is comparable to a Heaven Star Border Realm expert's attack. It is indeed a top-tier spiritual weapon. Seeing the power of his attack, Mo Qingyun was looking forward to the scorching halberd's power at its peak. After a moment of surprise, Mo Qingyun's expression turned solemn. He began to ponder in his heart as he thought to himself, I have spent a total of 25 months training this time. That is equivalent to 2.5 months in the outside world. In that case, there is only half a month left for the 10,000 Talisman Immortal meeting. I hope that the gap between me and them is not too great. After thinking about this, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately checked the rankings. First place, Invincible Blade, points, 284,219,320. Second place, Zhu Jinlan, points, 229,8844,740. Third place, Yuan Ba, points, 228,776, points, 30,575. Fourth place, Chou Jianfeng, points, 211,286,350. Fifth place, Lu Chao, 247,029,825 million. Seventh place, Zhou Qing, points, 145, 8333, 895. Thousandth place, Chen Shu, points, 8, 37, 565. At this moment, the information of the top 1,000 entered Mo Qingyun's eyes. The top 1,000 have almost 10 million points, and the top 20 have more than 100 million points. Looking at everyone's points, Mo Qingyun was surprised. He was surprised by the speed of everyone's points increasing. It seems like the gap between us has widened. There are only 15 days left. It will be quite difficult for me to surpass Invincible Blade and get the first place. In Mo Qingyun's eyes, other than the first place of the 10,000 Talismans Immortal Gathering, the other rankings didn't mean much to him. His purpose of participating in the 10,000 Talismans Immortal Gathering was to get the first place and obtain the Ancient World Crossing Stone. As for the second place to the 1,000th place, it was nothing more than a stepping stone for him to enter the 10 Great Sects. If he really wanted to enter the 10 Great Sects, he could have just agreed to Mo Chung and the rest. Forget it. Let's not think about it. The most important thing now is to seize the time to hunt demonic beasts and increase my strength. After sorting out his emotions, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate any longer. He immediately went out of the 5-directional small tower and started to hunt demonic beasts. Heavenly Flame's sky-breaking halberd. After coming out of the 5-directional small tower, Mo Qingyun held the halberd in his hand and charged towards the Jade Talisman Peepa Scorpions. Under the full force of Mo Qingyun's halberd, it immediately set off a terrifying Yuan power storm and engulfed the Jade Talisman Peepa Scorpions. So powerful. Chapter 650. Poof, poof, poof. Under the bombardment of the blazing flame halberd, the bodies of the Jade Amulet Peepa Scorpions were instantly sliced open and they died. In one move, more than 10 Jade Amulet Peepa Scorpions were killed. This kind of combat power was indeed terrifying. As the Jade Amulet Peepa Scorpions were killed, streaks of light flew out from their corpses and entered Mo Qingyun's scoreboard. My points have increased by more than 7,000 points. Looking at the increase in his points, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He was very satisfied with the harvest of his halberd. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun's face was filled with joy, the surrounding people's expressions twitched, and they looked at him with even more reverence. The combat power that Mo Qingyun had displayed was simply too frightening. These jade amulet Pipa scorpions were 6-seal advanced demonic beasts, but they couldn't withstand a casual blow from Mo Qingyun. After a short moment of shock, a courageous person walked towards Mo Qingyun with a look of admiration and reverence and asked, "May I ask if you're Senior Zhou Qing? Zhou Qing, the one who is ranked 7th on the leaderboard?" Hearing the other party's words, Mo Qingyun was slightly stunned. Then, he smiled faintly and replied, "No, you have got the wrong person. My name is Mo Qingyun." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he ignored this person and moved towards the depths of the demonic Sound Pipa Valley. Mo Qingyun? Hearing Mo Qingyun's name, a few of them were deep in thought as they searched for information about Mo Qingyun in their minds. "Guys, have you heard of the name Mo Qingyun?" Mo Qingyun. This name sounds familiar, but I don't have a deep impression of it. I know who he is. He is the exceptional genius with a talent value of 1,000 points. I didn't expect him to be so powerful. That's impossible. If it's really Mo Qingyun, why isn't he in the top 100 of the leaderboard? That's true. With that guy's combat power, he can definitely enter the top 100. 15 minutes later, a strong sense of confusion arose in the hearts of these people. In their opinion, Mo Qingyun's terrifying strength was not inferior to the 5 absolutes sex prodigies. There was no reason why Mo Qingyun couldn't even enter the top 100. No matter what, that person's strength is definitely comparable to the 5 uniques prodigies. One of them had a solemn expression and a hint of impatience. He said impatiently, "Since he says he is Mo Qingyun, then I will treat him as Mo Qingyun. I have to tell everyone about him and let everyone know that another dark horse comparable to Zhou Qing has appeared. I'm going to." When the others heard this, they were all overjoyed and expressed that they would join the team to spread the news. Following which, the few of them split up and went to spread the news of Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun did not know what those people were doing. Otherwise, his expression would have been more colorful. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Mo Qingyun swung his halberd, and another dozen jade amulet Pipa scorpions were blown up by the scorching flame halberd. As the jade amulet Pipa scorpions were killed, Mo Qingyun's scoreboard shone brightly, and his points rose rapidly again. Rank 5,342. Mo Qingyun, points 1,015, 860. After a period of crazy hunting, Mo Qingyun's points finally broke through the 1 million mark. As Mo Qingyun's points broke through the 1 million mark, his scoreboard changed from black iron to bronze. At this rate, I should be able to enter the top 1,000 before tomorrow. Looking at his ranking, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with anticipation. He held the scorching flame halberd and charged into the demonic Sound Pipa Valley. Following which, under Mo Qingyun's continuous hunting, his points rose rapidly. 2 hours later, Mo Qingyun's points broke through the 2 million mark. 12 hours later, Mo Qingyun's points rose again and reached the 7 million mark. At this moment, Mo Qingyun's points were only about 2 million points away from the 1,000th rank. I'm still short of 2 million points. Looking at the gap between himself and the top 1,000, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with determination. He said in a deep voice, "If this continues, I'll be able to enter the top 1,000 in 4 hours." Following which, Mo Qingyun continued to go deeper into the demonic Sound Pipa Valley and crazily killed the jade amulet Pipa scorpions. At this moment, as Mo Qingyun was crazily killing the jade amulet Pipa scorpions, news about him spread throughout the myriad world valley. You didn't see how Mo Qingyun killed the demonic beasts. With just one slash, he killed a few thousand demonic beasts. It wasn't just a few thousand. When I counted, it was exactly 10,000 demonic beasts. Not one more, not one less. One slash to kill over 10,000 demonic beasts. This is too awesome. If that's the case, wouldn't he be comparable to the genius of the Five Wonders sect? Is this for real? If he's really that powerful, wouldn't Zhou Qing be incomparable to him? Zhou Qing is nothing. He's not even qualified to carry Mo Qingyun's shoes. Mo Qingyun's talent value is 1,000. How much can Zhou Qing have? As the news about Mo Qingyun spread, it became more and more ridiculous. However, no one doubted his authenticity. On the contrary, everyone exaggerated the news. Following which, as the news about Mo Qingyun continued to spread, it finally reached the ears of Invincible Blade and the others. You've finally returned. This time, don't disappoint me again. After hearing the rumors about Mo Qingyun's strength, Invincible Blade's face was filled with anticipation. He exuded a fighting spirit and said, Mo Qingyun, I'm waiting for you to become stronger. When the time comes, I'll get my all in the battle. That kid didn't die. Looks like I'll have to do it myself. Looks like there's still a good show to watch. I hope it won't disappoint me. When Zhu Jinlan and the others heard about Mo Qingyun's news, their faces turned gloomy. They were surprised by this news. At this moment, in a valley not far from demonic Sound Peepa Valley in the Myriad World Valley. What? Someone is comparing me with Mo Qingyun? When a young man wearing a green golden crown heard that he was being compared with Mo Qingyun, his face immediately turned gloomy. He said coldly, this group of blind idiots. A piece of trash who can't even make it into the top 1,000. How can he be compared with me? Zhou Qing. Senior brother Zhou Qing. It's said that Mo Qingyun is indeed gifted. Don't underestimate him. Hearing Zhou Qing's words, a young man who was at the peak of the Six Seal realm reminded Zhou Qing with a solemn expression. Humph. No matter how talented he is, he's just a genius who hasn't grown up yet. Zhou Qing curled his lips in disdain at the words of the person beside him. He said with a cold expression, send someone to inquire about Mo Qingyun. I want to meet him. I want to see what he is capable of. Yes. Chapter 651. 4 hours later, under Mo Qingyun's unceasing hunting of demonic beasts, his ranking finally entered the top 1,000. Number 1,000. Mo Qingyun. Points. 9,738. 540-inch view. I'm finally in the top 1,000. Seeing that he had entered the top 1,000, Mo Qingyun took a deep breath and smiled brightly. Buzz, buzz, buzz. At this moment, when Mo Qingyun was overjoyed, the immemorial artifact Rune Book suddenly throbbed. The immemorial artifact Rune Book is reacting. Mo Qingyun immediately revealed a pleasantly surprised expression when he sensed the movement of the primeval artifact talisman manual, and his expression became slightly excited as he said, could it be that the primeval artifact talisman true body exists in demonic Sound Peepa Valley? As soon as this thought appeared, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately summoned the immemorial artifact Rune Book. As the immemorial artifact Rune Book was summoned, it emitted a dazzling light and quickly flew into the demonic Sound Peepa Valley. Seeing this, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately followed the immemorial artifact Rune Book into the demonic Sound Peepa Valley. Along the way, the Jade Talisman Peepa Scorpions were all killed by Mo Qingyun. As Mo Qingyun was focused on his journey, the speed of his points increasing was obviously much slower. A few minutes later, his ranking was replaced by someone else, and he fell out of the top 1,000. However, Mo Qingyun didn't care too much about this at the moment. For him, the most important thing was to obtain the immemorial artifact Rune Book in the demonic Sound Peepa Valley. After a while, a big tree full of white jade spiritual fruits appeared in front of Mo Qingyun. At a glance, he could clearly see that there were many strange runes on the tree. As Mo Qingyun looked at the tree, he saw the immemorial artifact Rune Book quietly stopping above the tree. These runes are. Seeing the immemorial artifact Rune Book's actions, Mo Qingyun was immediately shocked, and his face was filled with joy. He said, could it be that this tree is the immemorial artifact runebook? It attracted the immemorial artifact runebook here. Senior Brother Wang Luan, what's wrong? At this moment, as Mo Qingyun was looking at the rune tree, he heard an anxious voice. Then, Mo Qingyun saw a young woman with a worried and panicked expression. She stood beside the three men who were in a daze. The cultivation of this woman and her companions were not weak. One of the men was at the peak of the sixth seal, while the other two were at the high stage of the sixth seal, just like this woman. Such a battle force was considered to be one of the top in the Myriad World Valley. Even so, the three men still stood there in a daze as if they had lost their minds. This scene was indeed abnormal. However, after briefly sizing them up, Mo Qingyun no longer paid any attention to them. Instead, he turned his attention back to the rune tree. Since he knew that the rune tree was his goal in coming to the Demon Sonar Valley, he naturally could not give up. Immemorial Artifact Rune Book Collect. Arriving in front of the rune tree, Mo Qingyun controlled the Immemorial Artifact Rune Book to collect the rune tree. Boom, boom, boom. Under the Immemorial Artifact Rune Book's collection, the rune tree immediately shook and emitted a dazzling light. Then, the rune tree slowly shrank and turned into a white jade rune book, entering the Immemorial Artifact Rune Book. It really is the Immemorial Artifact Rune Book, Rune Book, Rune Book. Seeing the rune tree being collected by the Immemorial Artifact Rune Book, Mo Qingyun's face was filled with joy and excitement. He did not expect to obtain an Immemorial Artifact Rune Book, Rune Book, Rune Book on this trip to the demonic Sound Peepa Valley. Immemorial Demonic Sound Peepa Rune Book, Rune Book, Rune Book. After collecting the Immemorial Artifact Rune Book, Mo Qingyun saw the information about the Immemorial Artifact Rune Book on the Immemorial Artifact Rune Book. It turned out that the Immemorial Demonic Sound Peepa Rune Book was a powerful rune book based on the weapon of one of the four generals of the Mo family. After Mo Qingyun collected the Immemorial Demonic Sound Peepa Rune Book, the dizzy Wang Luan and the rest gradually regained consciousness. Senior Wang Luan, are you all okay? Seeing that Wang Luan and the rest had regained consciousness, the girl immediately showed concern and asked Wang Luan and the rest, "Junior Sister Baikun, did you save us?" Wang Luan asked the woman with a curious expression. "No." Baikun shook her head and turned to look at Mo Qingyun. She said in a deep voice, "He took out a treasure and collected the rune tree, allowing you to recover from your dizziness." Oh, hearing that, Wang Luan and the rest immediately looked at Mo Qingyun in surprise. A sliver of greed flashed through their eyes as they thought to themselves, "A beginner sixth seal brat actually has a treasure that can collect the rune tree. That treasure must be extraordinary." Mo Qingyun did not pay any attention to Wang Luan and the rest. He glanced at them indifferently and prepared to leave. However, just as Mo Qingyun was about to leave, Wang Luan sneered and said coldly to Mo Qingyun, "Wait." With that, Wang Luan moved and arrived before Mo Qingyun, blocking Mo Qingyun's path. "What's the matter?" Seeing Wang Luan's actions, Mo Qingyun showed some displeasure and said coldly, "Brat, we were fighting with the rune tree and were about to subdue it, but you took the opportunity to take it away. Don't you think you owe me an explanation?" Wang Luan sneered and looked at Mo Qingyun with greed in his eyes. He said coldly, "If we did not hold the rune tree back, you might have already died under the rune tree's demonic sound. Hand over the treasure that you used to collect the rune tree. Treat it as the price for saving you." Hearing Wang Luan's words, Mo Qingyun immediately showed a look of disdain and looked at them coldly. Wang Luan was really shameless. Mo Qingyun had saved them. Not only did they not thank him, they actually dared to covet Mo Qingyun's treasure. Such an unreasonable request was really intolerable to Mo Qingyun. Looking at Wang Luan with ridicule, Mo Qingyun curled his lips and said coldly to Wang Luan, "It doesn't matter if I give you the immemorial weapon symbol manual. I'm just afraid that you won't have a life to take it." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Wang Luan's face turned cold and a murderous aura exuded from his body. He said coldly, "Brat, since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Junior brother, junior sister, let's kill this brat together." As soon as Wang Luan finished speaking, he gave some instructions to the few people beside him. Together, they attacked Qing Yun. Heavenly flames, sky-breaking halberd. Seeing Wang Luan and the others attack, Mo Qing Yun took out the blazing halberd and slashed it towards Wang Luan and the others. Then, a blazing dragon halberd radiance exploded from the blazing halberd and emitted a destructive force that instantly engulfed Wang Luan and the others. After being engulfed by Mo Qing Yun's halberd radiance, Wang Luan and the others' faces changed, and they said in panic, How can this be? How can a six-seal beginner stage brat have such battle power? Is he Zhou Qing?" However, before Wang Luan and the others could finish their words, they were killed by Mo Qing Yun's blazing halberd. After killing Wang Luan and the others with a single halberd strike, Mo Qing Yun no longer hesitated. He raised his hand and collected their scoreboards and cosmos bags. Then, Mo Qing Yun transferred Wang Luan and the others' points into his scoreboard. Wang Luan's ranking was not low, and he had more than 20 million points. Chapter 652. Outside the Valley of 1,000 Worlds. Qing Yun's name is in the 1,000th place? Did I see wrongly? Elder Su was puzzled when he saw Qing Yun's name on the light screen. He turned to Feng Huide and asked, "Supreme Elder, did you see Qing Yun's name on the light screen's 1,000th place?" Hearing Elder Su's words, Feng Huide and the others immediately widened their eyes and looked at Elder Su in surprise. They really didn't think that other than themselves, other people also had the same misconception. If that was the case, Mo Qing Yun might have entered the top 1,000, but was soon surpassed by others. You guys had the same feeling? I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. If that's the case, Qing Yun should be fine. Otherwise, it would be impossible for him to enter the top 1,000 again. Let's continue to pay attention to the light screen's ranking. I believe that with Qing Yun's strength, he will enter the top 1,000 again very soon. At this moment, the faces of Feng Huide and the rest were filled with anticipation. They wanted to see Mo Qing Yun's name on the light screen's ranking the next time it changed. The people from the Shu Talisman sect snorted when they heard what Feng Huide and the others said. At this time, an elder of the Shu Talisman sect sneered and mocked Feng Huide and the others. "I didn't expect that after more than 2 months, you still haven't given up and still have hope for Mo Qing Yun. I advise you to save your energy." Obviously, he did not believe that Mo Qing Yun could enter the top 1,000 again. Elder Su, who had a fiery temper, was furious when he heard the elder's words. He wanted to argue with the elder. However, at this moment, Feng Huide revealed a faint smile and shrugged at Elder Su. "Elder Su, there's no need to argue with them. When Qing Yun enters the top 1,000 again, we'll naturally slap their faces." Haha, that's true. The people from the Mao Talisman sect smiled brightly when they heard Feng Huide's words. They agreed with Feng Huide's words. Supreme Elder, Qing Yun's ranking, while the elders from the Mao Talisman sect were smiling. One of the elders suddenly looked at the light screen in disbelief. "Elder Hua, what happened to Qing Yun?" Hearing the elder's words, Feng Huide and the others immediately became anxious. They urged Elder Hua, "You have to explain it clearly." Huff, huff, huff. Elder Hua took a few deep breaths when he heard Feng Huide and the others' words. He calmed himself down. He said, "Qing Yun's ranking has entered the top 100. What? Has Qing Yun entered the top 100 rank?" "Elder Hua, you can't speak blindly." Hearing Elder Hua's words, Feng Huide and the others were shocked. They couldn't believe their ears. Then, they looked at the ranking on the light screen. After looking at it, they were all dumbfounded. 98th place, Mo Qing Yun, 101, 9850 points. Mo Qing Yun had really entered the top 100. This scene was simply too unbelievable for Feng Huide and the others. Mo Qing Yun didn't make a move, but once he did, he directly charged into the top 100. It had to be said that this was really too shocking. A A bunch of idiots. The people from the Shu Talisman sect mocked when they saw the actions of Feng Huaid and the others. One of them sneered, "If Mo Qingyun enters the top 100, I will acknowledge him as my grandfather." At this moment, before the elder could finish his words, he was completely stunned. He couldn't believe what he was seeing with his own eyes. Mo Qingyun's name had really appeared at 98th place. In other words, Mo Qingyun had really entered the top 100. Yu Xianxin and the others were stunned when they saw Mo Qingyun's ranking. They rubbed their eyes and couldn't believe what they were seeing. Elder, don't acknowledge Qingyun as your grandfather just because he is talented. Qingyun doesn't have a useless grandson like you. Seeing the expressions of the Shu Talisman sect and the others, Elder Su was secretly pleased and mocked him. You, the elder from the Shu Talisman sect, was furious when he heard Elder Su's words. He stared at Elder Su angrily, but couldn't refute him. He had no choice. He had to swallow his own fart no matter how smelly it was. Mo Qingyun has entered 98th place? Mo Chung was stunned when he saw Mo Qingyun's name on the light screen. He was really shocked by this scene. After a short moment of shock, Mo Cheng's face revealed a joyous expression. His tone was excited as he praised, "Good, good, good. This little fellow indeed did not disappoint me. From the looks of it, he should have entered a special realm during the past 2 months, causing him to be isolated from the outside world. This caused him to be unable to hunt demonic beasts to increase his points." That's right. Jin Wan and the rest nodded their heads when they heard Mo Cheng's words. They agreed with his point of view. Jin Wan's expression turned serious after she agreed with Mo Cheng's words. She sighed and said, "It seems like the hunt for this year's 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering has begun. I wonder how many disciples will become the prey of the other disciples." Mo Chung and the rest fell silent when they heard Jin Wan's words. Their expressions were solemn. The hunt was the last competition period of the 10,000 Talisman Immortal Gathering. The competition during this period would be extremely cruel. Many disciples would be killed by others, and their points would be snatched away in a domineering manner. Apart from that, there would also be a huge fluctuation in the rankings during this period. Many disciples would rise to prominence, and many disciples would forever remain in the 10,000 World Valley. Inside the 10,000 World Valley, while everyone was shocked by the change in Mo Qingyun's ranking, another wave of Jade Talisman Peepa Scorpions were killed by Mo Qingyun and turned into points. This won't do. It's still too slow at this rate. After killing the wave of Jade Talisman Peepa Scorpions in front of him, Mo Qingyun frowned. He pondered and said, "If I continue at this speed, it will be impossible for me to surpass Invincible Blade. It seems that if I want to surpass Invincible Blade and take first place, I will need to hunt monsters with higher cultivation." Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated when he thought of this. He immediately took out his scoreboard and chose the next area to go to. 7 Seal Advanced Map, Golden Wing Heavenly Runic Pung Cliff. After making his choice, Mo Qingyun's gaze landed on the Golden Wing Heavenly Runic Pung Cliff. He started a plan in his heart. If I use the Seal Gate, I should be able to suppress the Golden Wing Heavenly Runic Pang's strength to the peak of 6 Seal. In that case, it shouldn't be too difficult for me to deal with it. Chapter 653. In the Valley of 1,000 Worlds. Senior Zhou Qing. Mo Qingyun has entered the top 100. A young man saw that Mo Qingyun's name had entered the top 100 and immediately said to the man with the cyan gold crown next to him, "Mo Qingyun has entered the top 100? Hearing the words of the young man beside him, Zhou Qing was shocked. His eyes turned cold as he said, "He must have killed many people who were ranked at the top and robbed them of their points to be able to enter the top 100. Senior Zhou Qing, if that's the case, Mo Qingyun isn't a good person. Should we not provoke him?" Hearing Zhou Qing's words, a young man beside him had a solemn expression as he tried to persuade Zhou Qing. "No, if that's the case, I want to meet him even more." Hearing this, a cold smile appeared on Zhou Qing's face. He waved his hand at the people beside him and said, Since this kid hunted other disciples and stole their points to increase his ranking, then it's time for us to start the hunt. Everyone's eyes immediately turned cold when they heard Zhou Qing's words. A strong murderous intent radiated from their bodies. Senior Zhou Qing, we found Mo Qingyun's whereabouts. While Zhou Qing and the others were talking, a young man quickly walked up to Zhou Qing with joy on his face. Oh! Zhou Qing immediately became happy when he heard the young man's words. He sneered even more and said, "It looks like even the heavens are helping us. They want us to get rid of Mo Qingyun. Where's he right now?" Senior Zhou Qing, I heard from the people that Mo Qingyun is heading to the cliff of the golden-winged celestial rune Peng, the young man said with a serious expression. The cliff of the golden-winged celestial rune Peng. Zhou Qing frowned when he heard this. He was a little surprised by Mo Qingyun's whereabouts. His expression also became a little more solemn. This golden-winged heavenly symbol rock is a 7-seal high-tier monster beast. If we encounter it, we can only flee with our tails between our legs. Why did Mo Qingyun go there? Senior brother Zhou Qing, the golden-winged heavenly talisman Peng Cliff is extremely dangerous. I think we should just forget about it. There's no need to risk our lives for Mo Qingyun. Seeing that Zhou Qing was deep in thought, a young man beside him advised him with a serious expression. No, let's go to the golden-winged heavenly talisman Peng Cliff as well. Zhou Qing's expression was cold as he interrupted the person beside him. He said solemnly, Mo Qingyun is only at the initial stage of the 5th seal, yet he dares to go to the golden-winged heavenly talisman Peng Cliff without regard for his life. If I'm not wrong, there must be some treasure there that attracts him. After making a decision in his heart, Zhou Qing instructed the young man beside him, Zhenglin, go and get everyone ready. We will immediately head to the golden-winged heavenly symbol Peng Cliff. Yes. Hearing this, Zhou Zhenglin walked away and passed down Zhou Qing's order. Then, Zhou Qing and the rest headed towards the golden-winged heavenly talisman Peng Cliff to meet Mo Qingyun. At this moment, while Zhou Qing and the rest were heading towards the golden-winged heavenly talisman Peng Cliff, Mo Qingyun came to an area with 7 seals demonic beasts. Roar! At this moment, a 7-sealed demonic beast with the head of a bird and the body of a wolf, with 2 pairs of wings on its back, swooped down towards Mo Qingyun. 4-winged green eagle wolf. Mo Qingyun's complexion couldn't help but change when he saw the flying demon beast attacking him. His expression became a bit more dignified. Seal gate, seal for me. When he saw this, Mo Qingyun didn't hesitate any longer. He immediately used the sealed gate and blasted it towards the 4-winged azure eagle wolf. Chirp! After being hit by the sealed door, the 4-winged green eagle wolf let out a cry and its aura weakened a little, falling to the intermediate stage of the 6th seal. When Mo Qingyun attacked the 4-winged green eagle wolf, the bird's crown on its head shone brightly and flashed with runes. As soon as these runes appeared, they turned into a rune bird feather sword, exuding a shocking aura and attacking Mo Qingyun at an extremely fast speed. You, who are only at the intermediate stage of the 6th seal, can't do much damage to me. Looking at the incoming rune bird feather sword, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and stabbed out with the scorching halberd in his hand. After Mo Qingyun stabbed out with the halberd, he turned into a green flowing light and shot out like a coiling dragon coming out of its cave. At the same time, the scorching halberd exploded with a shocking red light and turned into a huge dragon shadow with dragon power spreading out. Roar! As soon as the red dragon shadow appeared, it exploded with a shocking heat wave and engulfed the rune bird feather sword in an instant. Patter, patter! The dragon shadow halberd light engulfed the rune bird feather sword and a crisp sound was heard, as if dry wood was being burned in a fire. After engulfing the rune bird feather sword, the dragon shadow halberd light's attack speed did not decrease and instantly engulfed the 4-winged green eagle wolf. Gee! As the 4-winged green eagle wolf was engulfed by the dragon shadow halberd light, it let out a miserable cry and kept flapping its wings in the red flames. However, Before it could break through the red flames, its wings were burned by the red flames and its bloody body was exposed. Mo Qingyun didn't show any mercy. His figure moved once again, and he rushed forward with the scorching flame halberd in his hand. Pucci! The halberd pierced through the four-winged green eagle wolf's body in an instant, causing a hideous wound. Then, the four-winged green eagle wolf struggled for a while before its aura was cut off. As the four-winged green eagle wolf was killed, a dot of light flew out from its corpse and entered Mo Qingyun's scoreboard. Immediately, Mo Qingyun's scoreboard increased by 5,000 points. The points of a 7-seal beginner demonic beast are still a little too little. Looking at the points on the scoreboard, Mo Qingyun showed a trace of disappointment and continued on his way. Oh right, the immemorial demonic sound talisman has the ability to shock the mind and make others dizzy. As they continued on their way, Mo Qingyun's eyes suddenly lit up, and he revealed an expression of anticipation as he said, "If I use the primeval demonic tune talisman and borrow its dizzying ability to deter the demon beasts, then wouldn't it be much easier for me to kill them?" With this thought, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately summoned the immemorial demonic sound talisman. But once the immemorial demonic sound talisman was summoned, it turned into the shape of a jade pipa and released waves of magical sound waves. Under the impact of the magical sound waves, some of the surrounding demonic beasts immediately became dizzy, and some of the weaker demonic beasts were directly shaken to death. As for the stronger demonic beasts, their eyes turned blood red as if their inner demons had been triggered and they had lost their nature. Only a few of the stronger 7-seal demonic beasts were still resisting the invasion of the demonic sound. Even so, they had lost the ability to move. It's really possible. This way, it will be much easier for me to hunt demonic beasts. After seeing this scene, Mo Qingyun's face immediately became wild with joy, and his expression became extremely excited. If this was the case, the demonic beast he was going to hunt next would definitely increase his points by leaps and bounds. Immediately, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately charged towards the demonic beasts, quickly reaping their lives. Chapter 654. While Mo Qingyun was killing these demonic beasts, he directly released the power of the 5 demonic beasts and raised his combat strength to the maximum. As soon as the 5 powers were released, they turned into a 5-colored ball of light and enveloped Mo Qingyun. Next, Mo Qingyun's appearance in the eyes of others was that of a constantly moving 5-colored ball of light. Puff, puff, puff. As Mo Qingyun's figure continued to move, the demonic beasts that he passed by were all killed by him. After killing the demonic beasts in front of him, Mo Qingyun's figure did not stop and quickly attacked the other demonic beasts. As Mo Qingyun moved, light spots flew out from the corpses of the demonic beasts and flew towards his scoreboard. Following that, a wondrous scene entered the eyes of the bystanders. There was a 5-colored ball of light with a magical lute floating above its head. It was moving at high speed. Every time the 5-colored ball of light moved, it would take away a large number of demonic beast lives and attract a large number of light spots to it. At this moment, some of the disciples who passed by were stunned when they saw the scene in front of them. What is that 5-colored ball of light? Such terrifying strength. The demonic beast that was killed just now, was it the Ice Fire Lion Tiger beast, an intermediate 7th-seal demonic beast? Intermediate 7th seal demonic beast was killed in an instant. This person's strength is too terrifying. Is his cultivation really below the 7th seal demonic beast? The scene in front of them was simply too unbelievable. It completely shattered their understanding of the world. Wasn't this speed of killing demonic beasts a little too terrifying? Mo Qingyun did not pay attention to the performance of the people around him and continued to kill the other demonic beasts. Thanks to Mo Qingyun's frenzied hunting, the speed at which his points increased also increased rapidly. His ranking was constantly refreshed. Outside the Valley of 1,000 Worlds, seeing Mo Qingyun's ranking soar on the light screen, Feng Huide and the others were ecstatic. They were extremely excited. In just a few hours, Mo Qingyun's ranking had actually shot from 98th place to 99th place. This kind of speed of improvement was truly a little frightening. Elder Su had a nervous look on his face as he asked Feng Huad, Grand Elder, what do you think Qingyun's final ranking will be? I'm not sure either. Feng Huad shook his head with a bitter smile. He had originally thought that with Mo Qingyun's initial 5-seal cultivation base, it would be good enough for him to enter the top 300. But now, Mo Qingyun had actually charged to the 90th place. Furthermore, he was constantly refreshing his own ranking at an astonishing speed. This kind of situation was really beyond his expectations. How is this possible? That brat is only at the initial stage of the 5th seal. How can he be so powerful? Seeing Mo Qingyun's ranking being refreshed, the people from the Shu Talisman sect were stunned. They couldn't believe that this was real. This was because they saw that on the light screen. Every time Mo Qingyun's ranking was refreshed, his points would increase by a few million. In a few minutes, he could increase his points by a few million. This meant that Mo Qingyun had to kill hundreds of thousands of 5-sealed demonic beasts or tens of thousands of 6-sealed demonic beasts in a few minutes. As for 7-sealed demonic beasts, Yu Xin and the others didn't dare to think about it. Was it possible for a 5-seal beginner to kill 7-seal demonic beasts? This brat is too demonic. It seems that we have really misjudged him this time. This brat is a true genius. If he doesn't die, he will definitely soar to the 9 heavens in the future. I wonder what his limit is. Will he be able to compete with the 5 uniques in the end? At that moment, the people from the Shu Talisman sect were in awe. Seeing Mo Qingyun's current performance, the people from the Shu Talisman sect were completely convinced by Mo Qingyun. Is this Mo Qingyun's true strength? Seeing Mo Qingyun's ranking skyrocketing, Mo Chung was shocked. With his eyes wide open, he said, if he had increased his ranking at such a speed from the start, I'm afraid his current ranking would not be lower than the 5 uniques. Will he be able to catch up now? Hearing Mo Cheng's words, Jin Wan and the others by the side were filled with anticipation. They wanted to see how Mo Qingyun would perform in the remaining 10 days of the Myriad Talisman Immortal Gathering. At that moment, in the Myriad World Valley, is he at the 90th place? Seeing Mo Qingyun's ranking rise, Invincible Blade's face was filled with joy. His body emitted a strong battle intent as he said, Mo Qingyun, you did not disappoint me. There's still 12 days left. I hope you can surprise me then. After muttering to himself with a faint smile, Invincible Blade's face turned cold. A bloodthirsty light flashed in his eyes as he said, looking at the time, it's about time to start the hunt. I wonder where those 4 fellows are hiding. He entered the 90th place. Seeing Mo Qingyun's current ranking, Zhu Jinlan and the others were shocked. They were surprised by Mo Qingyun's shocking performance. Looks like it's time to reel in the net. Zhu Jinlan's face turned cold as he said in a deep voice, if that's the case, you, Mo Qingyun, will be my first target in this Myriad Talisman Immortal Gathering. 90th place, over 130 million points. It's worth a trip. When Yuan Ba saw Mo Qingyun's points, a cold smile appeared on his face as he said, after I kill Mo Qingyun, I'll shift the blame to Zhu Jinlan and Zhu Jinlan. The result should be more interesting. This brat has such potential. Looks like I can't let him grow. Chou Jianfeng sneered and said, 100 million points is quite a lot. If I can get my hands on these points, I should be able to rush to the first place. Looks like I have to hurry up and get rid of him. Since Mo Qingyun has grown so much, Zhu Jinlan and the others should be taking action soon. I can go and watch the show. Lu Chao's face was filled with anticipation as he started to move. At that moment, when the 5 uniques were about to take action, a young man with a green golden crown on his head led a group of young men to the golden-winged heavenly runic rock cliff. Mo Qingyun isn't here? When Zhou Qing saw that Mo Qingyun was not at the golden-winged heavenly runic rock cliff, he was surprised. Senior brother Zhou Qing, Mo Qingyun's cultivation is low. Naturally, he won't be as fast as us. I think he's still on his way. Hearing Zhou Qing's words, Zhou Zhenglin revealed a faint smile and explained to Zhou Qing. That's true. Zhou Qing nodded his head and agreed with Zhou Zhenglin's explanation. Then he said coldly, if that's the case, we'll wait for Mo Qingyun here. If we can kill Mo Qingyun and get his points, it won't matter if we wait a little longer. Just as Zhou Qing and the others were talking, a five-colored storm rushed toward them rapidly. Like the autumn wind sweeping away the fallen leaves, it crazily killed the surrounding demonic beasts. What is that? Chapter 655. While Zhou Qing and the rest were still in shock, Mo Qingyun swung his halberd again and slaughtered another wave of monsters. After this wave of monsters was killed by Mo Qingyun's halberd, light spots flew out from their corpses and into Mo Qingyun's scoreboard. Have we reached the golden-winged heavenly runic Pong Cliff? After killing this wave of demon beasts in front of him, Mo Qingyun stopped and looked towards the towering cliff in front of him. On top of the cliff, there were many huge golden figures that were flying and spiraling in the air. Glancing at the cliff in front of him, Mo Qingyun removed the power from his body and sat down cross-legged on the spot, adjusting his breathing to recover his yuan qi and soul power. These golden-winged heavenly runic pongs were not ordinary monsters. If Mo Qingyun wanted to attack them, he could not be careless. Therefore, it was necessary to regulate his breathing and restore himself to his peak condition. As Mo Qingyun withdrew his power, Zhou Qing and the others who were not far away saw Mo Qingyun's appearance. It's him. After seeing Mo Qingyun's appearance, one of Zhou Qing and the rest immediately recognized Mo Qingyun and said in surprise, Senior Zhou Qing, he is Mo Qingyun. Oh! When Zhou Qing heard this, a look of surprise appeared on his face. He carefully sized up Mo Qingyun. At this moment, Zhou Qing's gaze clearly revealed a trace of envy and jealousy as he looked at Mo Qingyun. He did not expect Mo Qingyun to appear in such a cool and domineering way. Senior Zhou Qing, Mo Qingyun seems to be different for what the rumors say. While Zhou Qing was surprised, Zhou Zhenglin, who was beside him, looked at Mo Qingyun with a serious expression and said in a low voice, the combat strength that Mo Qingyun displayed just now is not weaker than a quasi-7 seal expert. I'm afraid he will not be easy to deal with. Not easy to deal with? Zhenglin, why are your guts getting smaller and smaller? Zhou Qing smiled in an unconcerned manner when he heard Zhou Zhenglin's words. He looked at Mo Qingyun in disdain and said, think about it. All of us brothers are at the quasi-7th seal level. Do you really think that we can't deal with a single Mo Qingyun with so many of us? Hearing Zhou Qing's words, Zhou Zhenglin was immediately at a loss for words, unable to refute Zhou Qing's words. He didn't believe that they wouldn't be able to take care of Mo Qingyun with their combined strength. All right, let's go and play with that kid. Zhou Qing smiled faintly and patted Zhou Zhenglin's shoulder when he saw that Zhou Zhenglin was silent. Then, he walked directly toward Mo Qingyun. Seeing Zhou Qing walk towards Mo Qingyun, Zhou Zhenglin's brows furrowed again, and a bad feeling rose in his heart. However, Zhou Zhenglin did not speak up to stop Zhou Qing. He knew very well that once Zhou Qing had decided on something, it was impossible to change his mind. Before long, Zhou Qing and the others arrived before Mo Qingyun, surrounding Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun frowned slightly when he saw what Zhou Qing and the others had done. He looked at them coldly. At this moment, Mo Qingyun could clearly feel a sense of hostility from Zhou Qing and the others. Kid, you're that Mo Qingyun? Zhou Qing glanced at Mo Qingyun, and a look of disdain appeared on his face. He said disdainfully, a brat at the initial stage of the 6th seal is being compared to me. Zhou Qing. What bunch of blind dogs. Mo Qingyun immediately understood why these people had come when he heard Zhou Qing's words. Kid, my name is Zhou Qing. I'm currently ranked 6th on the rankings. I'm sure you know who I am. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was silent, Zhou Qing raised his head and revealed an arrogant expression. He continued, previously, there were some idiots who actually compared you to me. In order to prove their foolish actions, I feel that I need to prove that there's a huge gap between us. So you're Zhou Qing. Mo Qingyun smiled faintly when he heard Zhou Qing's arrogant words. He finally understood Zhou Qing's identity. So this guy was the Zhou Qing that those people had been talking about. He was really arrogant and full of himself. At this moment, Mo Qingyun also felt that comparing him to Zhou Qing was an insult to him. Since you know who I am, you should also know the gap between us. Seeing that Mo Qingyun knew who he was, the arrogance on Zhou Qing's face deepened. He said to Mo Qingyun in a condescending manner, "I'll give you a chance. Kneel before me and kowtow. Then pay for one of your arms and give me all your points. Then I'll forgive you this time." "Forgive me? Don't bother." Mo Qingyun's smile deepened when he heard Zhou Qing's words. He looked at Zhou Qing and mocked. "You're ranked 6th. Looks like you have quite a lot of points, right?" Originally, with Mo Qingyun's character, he didn't like to hunt other disciples and plunder their points. But now that Zhou Qing had delivered himself to his doorstep, he couldn't blame anyone else. Mo Qingyun had no choice but to be merciful. "What? From what you're saying, you want to steal my points?" Zhou Qing immediately laughed when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. He looked at Mo Qingyun with ridicule and said, "Looks like your confidence has swelled after you killed other disciples and stole their points. You actually want to take advantage of me. Zhonglin, all of you retreat to the side first. I'll personally deal with this kid." Zhou Qing sneered as he sized up Mo Qingyun. He waved to the people around him and looked coldly at Mo Qingyun. He said, "Mo Qingyun, I'll let you know how wrong you were." Berserk Talisman explode. After Zhou Qing spoke, he formed a hand seal and took out a talisman from his body and detonated it. As the talisman was detonated, it turned into runes and imprinted on Zhou Qing's skin. As the runes imprinted on Zhou Qing's skin, Zhou Qing's aura began to rise rapidly. In a short while, Zhou Qing's cultivation rose from the half-step 7th seal realm to the 7th seal realm. Not only that, but with the help of the runes, Zhou Qing's body underwent a huge change. Zhou Qing, who was only 7 feet tall, grew several times taller in an instant. The hair on his body also grew a lot longer. The current Zhou Qing gave off the feeling that he was an overlord of the forest, the King Kong of the apes. A talisman that can raise one's cultivation and allow one to enter the demonic beast state. Looks like Zhou Qing's background isn't simple. Mo Qingyun was shocked when he saw Zhou Qing's transformation. He then smiled and said, "Even if you turn into a demonic beast, it won't work. Since you've provoked me, then all of you shall stay here. Mo Qingyun, you're courting death." Chapter 656. Seal Gate, seal for me. Seeing that Zhou Qing was about to attack him, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately used the seal door on him. Under Mo Qingyun's attack, a miniature version of the light gate condensed at an extremely fast speed. It turned into a stream of light and blasted towards Zhou Qing. Then, Zhou Qing was hit by the light door martial soul, and his spiritual soul was instantly sealed and suppressed. Poof! With his spiritual soul injured, Zhou Qing's face turned pale and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Then, Zhou Qing's aura started to weaken and fell from the beginner 7th seal level to the intermediate 6th seal level. My cultivation, why is it like this? Zhou Qing immediately revealed a panicked expression when he saw his body slipping down. Fear rose in his heart as he said, "What did you do to me?" "You'll know when you're dead." In response to Zhou Qing's panicked words, Mo Qingyun smiled coldly and attacked him again. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was about to attack him, Zhou Qing's face twitched and he panicked. He quickly said to Zhou Zhenglin and the rest, "Zhenglin, this guy's a little strange. Follow me and attack him." "Yes, senior brother Zhou Qing." Hearing Zhou Qing's words, Zhou Zhenglin and the rest did not dare to hesitate and immediately attacked Mo Qingyun. Then, Zhou Zhenglin and the rest acted like Zhou Qing. They formed hand seals and threw out talismans. Then, Zhou Jinglin and the rest grew in size like Zhou Qing. They turned into demonic beasts, and their auras soared. Since you want to bully me with your numbers, don't blame me. Seeing that Zhou Jinglin and the rest wanted to attack him together, Mo Qingyun did not want to hold back and immediately summoned the immemorial demonic sound talisman. Buzz, once the immemorial demonic sound talisman was summoned, it emitted a magical sound wave that charged toward Zhou Jinglin and the rest who were transforming. Once the magical sound wave was released, it caused an overbearing impact and damage to the souls and minds of Zhou Qing and the rest. Poof! Zhou Qing and the others immediately spat out blood as their souls and minds were impacted by the magical sound wave. Their auras weakened slightly. This Peepa Jade amulet can actually attack the soul and mind directly. Being hit by the immemorial demonic note talisman, Zhou Qing and the others were immediately shocked, their faces full of shock. They had never thought that the target of the immemorial demonic note talisman would be the mind and soul of others. Those on the path of immortality cultivated the power of the soul. The primordial demonic sound Peepa's talismans directly caused damage to the soul. To put it bluntly, it was the nemesis of those on the path of immortality. Buzz, without waiting for Zhou Jinglin and the others to recover from their shock, another wave of illusory sound waves blasted out from the primordial demonic melody lute talisman towards Zhou Qing and the others. Struck by the illusory sound wave again, one of the weaker members of Zhou Qing's group immediately lost his mind, and his eyes turned blood red. Seeing this young man, Zhou Qing and the others' expressions changed drastically as they asked in shock, "Junior brother Jinping, what's wrong with you?" However, while Zhou Qing and the others were concerned about Zhou Jinping activated a talisman and blasted it towards the person beside him. "Junior brother Jinping, don't." Seeing Zhou Jinping's action, Zhou Qing and the others' expressions changed drastically as they hurriedly tried to stop him. However, Zhou Jinping chose to ignore Zhou Qing and the others' words and did not have any intention of slowing down his actions. Seeing Zhou Jinping attacking him, the disciple also lost his mind and his eyes turned blood red. Then, without hesitation, the disciple also took out a talisman and activated it, fighting with Zhou Jinping crazily. Bang, bang, bang. As Zhou Jinping and Li Qiye fought with all their might, a storm of energy immediately erupted from their sides. At the same time, hideous wounds immediately appeared on the bodies of Zhou Jinping and Zhou Yu. "Junior brother Jinping, junior brother Jingyang, stop, quickly stop." Seeing Zhou Jinping and the other disciples' miserable state, Zhou Qing and the others immediately became anxious as they shouted at Zhou Jinping and the other disciple. Zhou Jinping and the other disciple still ignored the words of Zhou Peng and the others. At this moment, the two of them were like walking corpses as their hearts were filled with endless killing. Seeing this scene, Zhou Peng and the others were furious as an intense anger and unwillingness rose in their hearts. They really did not expect such a scene to occur when they fought with Mo Qingyun. At this moment, Zhou Qing and the others also understood that with their abilities, they would not be able to do anything to Mo Qingyun. "Let's go." Knowing the difference in strength between them and Mo Qingyun, Zhou Qing's face was filled with unwillingness as he instructed Zhou Jinglin and the others. After Zhou Qing finished speaking, he immediately turned and left, unwilling to stay any longer. Hearing Zhou Qing's words, Zhou Jinglin and the others were filled with unwillingness. They reluctantly looked at Zhou Jinglin and the other disciple before turning and leaving. Although they did not want to abandon Zhou Jinping and the other disciple, they clearly understood that with their current situation, they were unable to save Zhou Jinping and the other disciple. "Want to leave." Seeing the actions of Zhou Qing and the others, a cold smile appeared on Mo Qingyun's lips as he mocked. "Zhou Qing, didn't you just say that you wanted me to understand the difference between you and me? Could it be that the difference you were talking about just now is the difference you've been killing like a stray dog?" Mo Qingyun. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Zhou Qing's face was immediately filled with anger, so angry that his face continuously twitched. Mo Qingyun's words had undoubtedly poked at his sore spot, and it was what he did not want to hear the most. Sky flame sky breaking halberd. After saying these mocking words to Zhou Qing, Mo Qingyun wielded the scorching flame halberd as his figure flashed towards Zhou Qing and the others. With a chop of the halberd, the scorching flame halberd immediately blazed with flames. A mighty dragon aura surged as it chopped out a gigantic dragon shadow halberd light. Once this dragon shadow halberd light appeared, it directly soared into the sky and swooped down towards one of Zhou Qing and the others, instantly swallowing that person. That youth was swallowed by the scorching flame halberd light and immediately let out a heart-wrenching scream as his body continuously rolled within the halberd light. Senior brother Zhenghua, junior brother Zhenghua. Seeing that the youth was swallowed by the scorching flame halberd light, Zhou Qing and the rest immediately revealed anxious expressions as they loudly shouted towards that youth. However, before Zhou Qing and the rest could finish their words, Zhou Zhenghua stopped shouting as his body stiffened and fell forward. Moments later, the scorching flame halberd light dissipated, and when Zhou Zhenghua once again appeared in front of the crowd, he had already turned into a dried corpse. Mo Qingyun, you've gone too far. Seeing that 3 people from his side had been brutally killed by Mo Qingyun in a short period of time, Zhou Qing's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. Originally, according to his expectations, he should have forcefully killed Mo Qingyun and then returned to show off his prowess. However, right now, their and Mo Qingyun's roles have been completely reversed. This drastic contrast was simply too difficult for him to accept. No need to be angry. None of you will be able to leave today. Chapter 657. Mo Qingyun. Mo Qingyun killed me many times. Seeing Mo Qingyun charging towards him, the disciple's face was immediately filled with fear as he begged for mercy from Mo Qingyun. He had no choice. His mind was currently under the assault of the magical sound wave and was unable to divert his attention to battle with Mo Qingyun. Right now, other than begging for mercy from Mo Qingyun, there was no other way. Plop. However, before he could finish his sentence, Mo Qingyun's blazing halberd pierced through his chest. Having his chest pierced through by Mo Qingyun's halberd, the disciple's eyes widened in disbelief. However, before the disciple could finish his sentence, his life force was exhausted as he was killed by Mo Qingyun's halberd. Seeing the people around them being killed one after another, some of the weaker disciples in Zhou Qing's group began to lose their minds and became like Zhou Zhongping and Mo Qingyun. Immediately, a crazed expression appeared on their faces as they began to viciously attack the people around them. When he saw this scene, Zhou Qing's face immediately turned deathly pale as an intense look of panic appeared on his face. At this moment, he finally understood how big the gap between him and Mo Qingyun was. Mo Qingyun, as long as you don't kill me, I can give you all my points. After understanding the gap between himself and Mo Qingyun, Zhou Qing no longer continued to put on an act. He looked at Mo Qingyun with a terrified expression as he begged for mercy. Their points are all with me. As long as you promise not to kill me, these points will all be yours. At that time, you can directly enter the top 6. Oh, their points are all with you? Hearing Zhou Qing's words, Mo Qingyun revealed a puzzled expression as he did not immediately understand what Zhou Qing meant. Seeing Mo Qingyun's puzzled expression, Zhou Qing immediately explained. It's like this. My points were able to enter the top 6 not because of my own strength, but because of everyone's points. They all gave their points to me. So that's how it is. Hearing Zhou Qing's explanation, Mo Qingyun's face revealed a look of understanding. He understood the meaning behind Zhou Qing's words. From the looks of it, Zhou Qing's 6th place was not a small matter. The points of more than a dozen Peak 6 Seal powerhouses were all accumulated on him, allowing him to enter the 6th place. In other words, this Zhou Qing was also trash. If it wasn't for the assistance of these people, he probably wouldn't even be able to enter the top 10. Seeing that Mo Qingyun understood what he meant, Zhou Qing immediately revealed a happy expression. He said to Mo Qingyun, Mo Qingyun, since you understand what I mean, can you let me go? As for their lives, it's up to you. In any case, they don't have any points. Senior brother Zhou Qing. Hearing Zhou Qing's words, Zhou Zhenglin and the others immediately became furious. They glared at Zhou Qing and said, We transferred our points to you so that you can enter the top 10. How dare you treat us like this? You are too ungrateful. To the Wild Talisman sect, you guys are merely watchdogs raised by the sect. How can you compare to me? Zhou Qing. Facing the anger of Zhou Zhenglin and the others, Zhou Qing's face revealed a look of disdain as he said those words to them. Zhou Qing, you will die a horrible death. Hearing Zhou Qing's words, Zhou Zhenglin and the others immediately gnashed their teeth and said those words with resentment. From the looks of it, you guys seem to be very ruthless towards Zhou Qing. Seeing the scene before him, Mo Qingyun revealed a look of interest. He said to Zhou Zhenglin and the others, How about this? I'll give you guys a chance to take revenge. I'll let you guys kill Zhou Qing. As for whether you can kill him or not, it's up to you guys. If we kill Zhou Qing for you, will you let us go? Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, one of Zhou Zhenglin and the others revealed a look of anticipation as he asked Mo Qingyun, Let you guys go? Do you think that's possible? Hearing this person's words, Mo Qingyun looked at him with disdain. His expression turned cold as he said, Also, if I want to kill Zhou Qing, I don't need you guys to do it. If you guys don't want this chance to take revenge, I'll have to take action against you immediately. Okay, we'll accept the chance you've given us. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Zhou Zhenglin's expression was cold as he nodded his head. Then, he looked at Zhou Qing with a cold gaze and said, Zhou Qing, we wholeheartedly supported your rise in the Wild Talisman sect. How dare you treat us like this? Today, we must kill you. At this moment, from Zhou Zhenglin's point of view, since they were going to die, he might as well kill Zhou Qing to vent the hatred in his heart. Zhou Zhenglin, how dare you? Have you forgotten your identity? You actually want to attack me? Hearing Zhou Zhenglin's words, Zhou Qing's expression twitched as a trace of panic flashed across his eyes. He was very clear about the strength of Zhou Zhenglin and the others. They weren't much weaker than him. If Zhou Zhenglin and the others joined forces to deal with him, he would have no chance of survival. He would only end up being killed by Zhou Zhenglin and the others. Zhou Qing, you're just a piece of trash who only knows how to bully others. Now that we're all about to die, why would we care about your identity? Hearing Zhou Qing's words, Zhou Zhenglin looked at him mockingly. Then he coldly said to the others beside him, Fellow junior brothers, let's join forces and kill this ungrateful bastard. Then we'll go to the Yellow Springs together. In our next life, we'll be fellow junior brothers. Yes, senior brother Zhenglin. Hearing Zhou Zhenglin's words, the people behind him immediately nodded their heads. Their bodies emitted an aura of hatred for a common enemy. Then, Zhou Zhenglin and the others emitted an aura of facing death as they fearlessly charged towards Zhou Qing. You dog slaves, since you want to die, you could die together with Mo Qingyun. Seeing Zhou Zhenglin and the others charging towards him, Zhou Qing's expression immediately darkened. He took out a talisman with a threatening aura and guided it. Once this talisman was activated by Zhou Qing, it immediately shone with a golden light and turned into an ancient Vajra shadow. It erupted with an aura of destruction. This is an 8-seal talisman, the ancient sky ape transformation talisman. Seeing the huge figure in front of them, Zhou Zhenglin and the others were immediately terrified. Their faces turned somewhat pale. Ancient sky ape, kill them for me. After activating the 8-seal talisman, Zhou Qing's face revealed a crazed look. He ordered the ancient sky ape shadow. Kid, watch your tone. You have no right to order me. Hearing Zhou Qing's words, the ancient sky ape shadow formed by the ancient sky ape transformation talisman said unhappily, I was saved by your grandfather back then. I owe him a favor and promised him to help you once in the Myriad World Valley. After this, we'll be even. Yes, Senior Sky Ape, Please help me kill all these people." Hearing the sky ape shadow's unhappy words, Zhou Qing's face immediately revealed a respectful look. He smiled apologetically at the sky ape shadow. Chapter 658. Hearing the change in Zhou Qing's tone, the ancient heavenly ape transformation talisman's expression improved, and it removed the pressure on Zhou Qing. Seeing that the ancient heavenly ape transformation talisman's aura had been removed from his body, Zhou Qing's expression immediately relaxed, and he exhaled deeply. In his opinion, the ancient heavenly ape transformation talisman was merely returning a favor to his grandfather out of gratitude. However, this did not mean that the ancient heavenly ape transformation talisman would not choose to teach him a lesson out of anger. If the ancient heavenly ape transformation talisman had chosen to teach him a lesson, he would have been beaten up for nothing. No one here could suppress it. A talisman that has gained sentience. This is rather interesting. Seeing the ancient heavenly ape transformation talisman's actions, Mo Qingyun revealed a look of interest and silently sized it up from the side. He had seen many magic treasures that had gained sentience, but this was the first time he had seen a talisman that had gained sentience. After all, Mo Qingyun's primordial artifact talisman and divine lotus general invocation talisman had not gained sentience either. In this way, one could see how rare a talisman that had gained sentience was. "You brats, I do not wish to bully you, but I owe his grandfather a favor. Therefore, all of you should kill yourselves." At this moment, when Mo Qingyun was sizing up the ancient heavenly ape transformation talisman, the ancient heavenly ape transformation talisman revealed a fierce expression and said coldly. As the ancient heavenly ape transformation talisman's words fell, it released a shocking aura that pressed down on Zhou Zhenglin and the rest. Under the pressure of the ancient heavenly ape transformation talisman's aura, Zhou Zhenglin and the rest immediately turned pale, and their bodies involuntarily knelt on the ground. Seeing Zhou Zhenglin and the rest's reaction, Zhou Qing immediately revealed a sinister smile. He looked at Zhou Zhenglin and the rest and said coldly, "You bunch of wretched slaves. I originally kept this trump card to deal with the 5 Uniques prodigies, but because of you, I used it prematurely. All of you go to hell." As soon as Zhou Qing finished speaking, he took out another talisman and activated it, blasting it towards Zhou Zhenglin and the rest. Currently, Zhou Zhenglin and the rest were suppressed by the ancient heavenly ape transformation talisman's aura and could barely stand. There was no way they could withstand Zhou Qing's talisman attack. Bang, bang, bang. Then, Zhou Zhenglin and a few others were instantly sent flying by the bombardment of Zhou Qing's talismans. They fell to the ground with serious injuries. Zhou Qing didn't stop there. He took out another talisman and activated it, sending it flying toward Zhou Zhenglin and the others. Then, Zhou Zhenglin and the others were all sent flying by Zhou Qing's ruthless attacks. They fell to the ground with heavy injuries. After dealing with Zhou Zhenglin and the rest, Zhou Qing's expression turned dark and cold. He turned his head towards Mo Qingyun and sneered. "Mo Qingyun, although your strength has surprised me, I'm sure you didn't expect me to have such a trump card, right? I really didn't expect this." Mo Qingyun nodded when he heard this. He still had that calm smile on his face, and there was no trace of panic on his face. "Although I wasted my trump card because I had to deal with you guys." A trace of reluctance appeared on Zhou Qing's face. He paused for a moment before he sneered. "However, after I kill you and obtain that Peepa Jade talisman in your hands, I won't end up empty-handed." "Zhou Qing, you're thinking too much." When he heard Zhou Qing's words, Mo Qingyun smiled nonchalantly. He glanced at the ancient sky ape transformation talisman beside him and disdainfully said, "You can't do anything to me with just this damaged 8th seal talisman." "Kid, what did you say?" When it heard Mo Qingyun's words, the ancient sky ape transformation talisman was immediately enraged. It released an aura that pressed down on Mo Qingyun. Thump, thump, thump. Under the pressure of the ancient sky ape transformation talisman, Mo Qingyun's body was forced back a few steps. His expression turned cold as he said, "Since it wasn't easy for you to gain intelligence, you'd better get lost immediately if you know what's good for you. Otherwise, I'll make you disappear completely." When it heard Mo Qingyun's words, the ancient sky ape transformation talisman was immediately enraged. Its expression was ferocious as it said, "Kid, I think you're tired of living. Since you're courting death, I'll fulfill your wish." A mere initial 6 seal kid actually dared to look down on it. This had already crossed its bottom line. "I think you're the one courting death." When he saw the ancient sky ape transformation talisman's actions, Mo Qingyun's expression turned cold as a murderous aura exuded from his body. Originally, Mo Qingyun didn't want to fight with the ancient sky ape transformation talisman given its strength. After all, it was more troublesome to deal with. However, since the ancient sky ape transformation talisman didn't know what was good for it, Mo Qingyun didn't mind destroying it. "Seal gate, seal for me." After Mo Qingyun finished speaking, he immediately used his martial soul's super ability, Seal Gate, on the ancient sky ape transformation talisman. Mo Qingyun pointed his finger. A mini light gate condensed on his finger and blasted towards the ancient sky ape transformation talisman. Pucci. After being hit by the Seal Gate, the ancient sky ape transformation talisman's figure shook and its body became slightly transparent. Following that, the ancient sky ape transformation talisman's aura fell from the quasi-8 seal level to the initial 7 seal level. How? How can this be? Sensing that its strength was being suppressed, the ancient sky ape transformation talisman's figure trembled. It felt some respect towards Mo Qingyun. Blood Chi Rampage. While the ancient sky ape transformation talisman was in awe, Mo Qingyun used his martial soul's super ability, Blood Chi Rampage, to increase the strength of his blood chi. Following that, the aura on Mo Qingyun's body rose rapidly. In an instant, it rose from the 6th level of the Pill Palace to the pinnacle of the Pill Palace. Heavenly Flames, Sky-Breaking Halberd. After using Blood Chi Rampage to increase his cultivation, Mo Qingyun's hands didn't slow down. He directly slashed towards the ancient sky ape transformation talisman with his halberd. As the halberd struck out, the flames on the blazing halberd surged. The draconic aura was vast and mighty, turning into a dragon shadow that swallowed the ancient sky ape transformation talisman. A mere 6 seal initial stage brat dares to attack me? You're courting death. Seeing that Mo Qingyun was attacking it, the ancient sky ape transformation talisman was enraged. It was as if its dignity had been greatly challenged. Following that, the ancient sky ape transformation talisman punched out towards the dragon shadow halberd. Bang! When the ancient sky ape transformation talisman's punch landed on the dragon shadow halberd, a shocking explosion immediately erupted from his fist. In action, sky concealing finger. At this moment, when the ancient sky ape transformation talisman was about to attack the dragon shadow halberd, Mo Qingyun pointed out with his finger again, releasing a hidden and terrifying aura. As the attack of the inaction sky concealing finger was too obscure, the ancient sky ape transformation talisman didn't even have time to react before it was hit. Bang! When the inaction sky concealing finger landed on the ancient sky ape transformation talisman, it immediately let out a muffled sound and a terrifying force storm erupted. Chi, chi, chi. Tiny cracks immediately appeared on the ancient sky ape incarnation talisman's talisman body under the force of the storm. So strong. This brat's strength is terrifying. After witnessing Mo Qingyun's strength, the ancient sky ape transformation talisman immediately revealed a look of reverence. Without any hesitation, it immediately turned around and fled. A quasi-8th seal talisman, the ancient sky ape transformation talisman, escaped. Chapter 659. A quasi-8th seal practitioner had been beaten to the point of fleeing by a 6th seal initial stage practitioner? Was there anything more ridiculous than this? Zhou Qing and the rest immediately felt as if they were dreaming when they saw this scene. They found it difficult to accept this outcome for a long time. After a brief moment of daze, Zhou Qing's expression immediately tensed up as panic rose in his heart. He clearly knew that once the ancient sky ape transformation talisman escaped, only death would await him. When he thought of this, Zhou Qing revealed an anxious expression as he hurriedly said to the ancient sky ape transformation talisman, "Elder, you promised my grandfather that you would help me once when I was in danger. You can't abandon me like this." Pooh! When the fleeing ancient sky ape incarnation talisman heard Zhou Qing's words, it immediately spat at him and said, "Brat, get your facts straight. I only promised your grandfather that I would help you once when you were in danger. I did not promise your grandfather that I would risk my life for you when you were in danger." After the ancient sky ape transformation talisman finished speaking, it no longer spoke to Zhou Qing as it transformed into a ray of light and fled into the distance. When they heard the ancient sky ape transformation talisman's words, not only was Zhou Qing dumbfounded, even Mo Qingyun was dumbfounded. The ancient sky ape transformation talisman's performance had far exceeded everyone's expectations. This fellow was too cunning. No wonder everyone said that monkeys were cunning. It turned out that not only were monkeys cunning, even their relatives were cunning. Sky Ape Elder. When he heard the ancient sky ape transformation talisman's words, Zhou Qing's face was filled with unwillingness as he tried to persuade it again. However, before Zhou Qing could speak, the ancient sky ape transformation talisman's figure had already disappeared from his sight. When he saw this scene, Zhou Qing's face immediately turned pale, giving off a feeling of despair. He knew that he was most likely doomed. Given Mo Qingyun's personality, he would definitely not let him off. Just as Zhou Qing's heart was filled with despair, Mo Qingyun looked at him coldly and said, "Since the ancient sky ape transformation talisman has already fled, you had better obediently accept your death. Mo Qingyun, you can't kill me." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Zhou Qing's body immediately trembled, and his face revealed a terrified expression as he said, "My grandfather is the supreme elder of the Eight Seals sect, the Wild Talisman sect. If you dare to kill me, the Wild Talisman sect will not let you go. My grandfather will definitely bring people to exterminate your 9 generations. A mere grand elder of the Eight Seals sect is not enough to make me afraid." Mo Qingyun replied coldly to Zhou Qing's words. He continued, "If I want to kill you today, I won't hesitate at all, even if your grandfather is the master of the 9 Seals sect. As a result, it's best if you die in peace." Heavenly Flame's sky-breaking halberd. As Mo Qingyun's words faded, he no longer hesitated. Holding the Moxabustian flame halberd in his hand, he chopped towards Zhou Qing. Mo Qingyun's halberd fell, and the flames on the halberd immediately burned brightly. It exploded with a shocking dragon's might, and it slashed out a shocking dragon shadow halberd light. Roar! As the dragon shadow halberd light appeared, it emitted a low roar, and with a tyrannical aura, it charged towards Zhou Qing. Seeing the dragon shadow halberd light charging towards him, Zhou Qing did not dare to hesitate. He immediately took out a talisman and activated it. Buzz! However, just as Zhou Qing took out the talisman and was about to activate it, a magical sound wave directly blasted into his mind. As his mind was hit by the magical sound wave, Zhou Qing immediately let out a blood-curdling scream, and his face became somewhat pale. At the same time, his action of activating the talisman was forcefully interrupted. At this moment, the dragon shadow halberd light carried a tyrannical aura and slammed into Zhou Qing's body. Bang! A muffled sound rang out from Zhou Qing's body, following which, everyone saw Zhou Qing being swallowed by the dragon shadow halberd light. My hand. After Zhou Qing was swallowed by the dragon shadow halberd light, he let out a blood-curdling scream and crazily rolled about in the dragon's shadow halberd light. However, before Zhou Qing could roll about, his body immediately stiffened, and he fell to the ground. Zhou Qing was dead. He was burned to death by the flames of the dragon's shadow halberd light. Seeing Zhou Qing being killed by Mo Qingyun, Zhou Zhenglin and the rest were in a daze, and their gazes became somewhat hollow. Even Zhou Qing, who had a quasi-8 seal talisman to protect himself, was unable to survive Mo Qingyun's attack. They were probably even more hopeless. Since Zhou Qing is dead, it's your turn now. After killing Zhou Qing with his halberd, Mo Qingyun no longer spoke to Zhou Zhenglin and the others. He looked at them coldly. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Zhou Zhenglin and the rest trembled, and a bitter smile appeared on their faces. In their hearts, they were filled with resentment towards Zhou Qing. If not for Zhou Qing's self-righteousness and stubbornness, they would not have provoked such a terrifying person like Mo Qingyun and would not have ended up in such a state. At that moment, when Zhou Zhenglin and the rest were feeling bitter, Mo Qingyun decisively swung his halberd and killed Zhou Zhenglin directly. After killing Zhou Zhenglin and the rest, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and took their Qingquan bags and scoreboards. Just like what Zhou Qing had said before, Zhou Zhenglin and the rest did not have any points on their scoreboards, and all the points were with him. As Mo Qingyun transferred the point from Zhou Qing's scoreboard to his own scoreboard, his ranking shot up rapidly. In a short while, Mo Qingyun's ranking shot up from the 80s to the 6th place, and his ranking was only below the 5 unique geniuses. Number 1. Invincible Blade, 565,373,840 million. Number 2. Yuan Ba, 416,284,395 million. Number 3. Zhu Jinlan, 37,585 million. Number 4. Chou Jianfeng, 396,527,675 million. Number 5. Lu Chao, 374,238,930 million. Number 6. Mo Qingyun, 348,741,935 million. At that moment, Mo Qingyun saw the ranking on the scoreboard. Number 6. Seems like killing people is still the fastest way to get points. Looking at his ranking, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He was satisfied with his reward this time. Outside the Myriad Whirl Valley, looking at the changes on the scoreboard, everyone was stunned and could not believe what they were seeing. Did I see it wrongly? Zhou Qing's name is broken? Is he dead? Zhou Qing's name disappeared from the scoreboard. Seems like he's really dead. The dark horse of this year's Myriad Talisman Immortal Gathering has been killed. Look, there's a new name in the 6th place. This guy called Mo Qingyun has replaced Zhou Qing. Mo Qingyun was previously in the 80s. Now that he has replaced Zhou Qing, doesn't that mean Mo Qingyun killed Zhou Qing? He stole Zhou Qing's points and replaced Zhou Qing, who was originally in the 6th place? As soon as this guess appeared in everyone's minds, their expressions changed drastically. They were shocked by their own guesses. Chapter 660. Qingyun is in 6th place. Feng Huaid was in disbelief when he saw Mo Qingyun's ranking on the light screen. He couldn't believe what he was seeing. Previously, when Mo Qingyun entered the top 100, it was already shocking enough. Now, Mo Qingyun had actually rushed to the 6th position. Moreover, Mo Qingyun had killed Zhou Qing, the dark horse of the 10,000 Talismans Immortal Convention, and snatched his points. It had to be said that Mo Qingyun's performance at this moment was really too shocking. Zhou Qing's ability to reach 6th place was enough to prove his strength. Now that Mo Qingyun had killed him, didn't that mean that Mo Qingyun's strength was comparable to the 5 unique prodigies? However, Mo Qingyun was only at the 5 seals initial stage. Mo Qingyun's strength was comparable to the 5 uniques prodigies. If he was at the 7 seals initial stage, it was hard to imagine how strong he would be. At this moment, Feng Huaid felt that his brain wasn't enough. Mo Qingyun's performance had completely overturned his understanding of the world. Of course, Feng Huide and the others were very happy that Mo Qingyun was in sixth place. However, while Feng Huide and the others were pleasantly surprised, they were also worried. Zhou Qing was a genius disciple of the Eight Seals sect, the Mad Talisman sect. Now that he had been killed by Mo Qingyun, it was likely that this matter wouldn't end peacefully. From a situation of Mo Qingyun advancing to sixth place just now, as long as the people present weren't fools, they would be able to guess that Zhou Qing had died at Mo Qingyun's hands. As a result, the enmity between the Mao Fu sect and the Mad Talisman sect was completely formed. Grand Elder, Qingyun has killed Zhou Qing from the Mad Talisman sect. I'm afraid there will be a lot of trouble in the future. Elder Su said to Feng Huide with a grave expression. He was worried that the Mad Talisman sect would take revenge on the Mao Fu sect. With the Mad Talisman school's strength of 8 seals, the Mao Talisman sect wouldn't be able to withstand them if they wanted to attack. Hearing Elder Su's words, Feng Huide's expression turned solemn. His eyes flashed with intense worry. He was very clear about the meaning of Elder Su's words. Immediately, a worried look surfaced on Feng Huide's face as he turned to look at the Wild Talisman sect. While Feng Huide and the rest were looking at the Violent Talisman sects group, the Violent Talisman sects group were also looking at them with eyes filled with killing intent. A silver-haired old man from the Wild Talisman sect coldly glanced at Feng Huide and the others before he said in a cold tone, "Mao Talisman sect, just wait for my Wild Talisman sect's revenge." Hearing the words of the silver-haired old man from the Wild Talisman sect, Feng Huide and the others immediately trembled, and their hearts instantly sank to the bottom. From the looks of it, there was no room for reconciliation between the Mao Talisman sect and the Wild Talisman sect. In the face of the Violent Talisman sect's revenge, even if Lu Feng and Ho Shihua were to lend a helping hand, they would still be unable to change the outcome. Seeing this scene, the people from the Shu Talisman sect revealed gloating smiles. At this moment, the Mao Talisman sect was finished. Brother Huide, in my opinion, you should quickly return and dissolve the Mao Talisman sect. Yu Xianxin sneered as he advised Feng Huide. His eyes were filled with gloating. Hearing Yu Xianxin's words, the expressions of Feng Huide and the others sank. They did not pay any attention to Yu Xianxin and the others. At this moment, the Myriad World Valley was in an uproar after the Wild Talisman sect's words. Everyone was shocked by Mo Qingyun's crazy actions, and a trace of sympathy appeared in their eyes as they looked at the Mao Talisman sect. From the looks of it, the Mao Talisman sect will cease to exist once the Myriad Talisman Immortal Gathering ends. That's right. The Mao Talisman sect has been ruined by Mo Qingyun. The Wild Talisman sect is not something the Mao Talisman sect can contend against. I don't think so. With Mo Qingyun's talent, the Ninth Shade sect will not watch the Mao Talisman sect be destroyed. That's right. With Mo Qingyun's shocking talent, the Wild Talisman sect will have scruples about destroying the Mao Talisman sect to prevent Mo Qingyun from taking revenge in the future. With Mo Qingyun's talent, it's very likely that he will become a talisman overlord in the future. The Wild Talisman sect will have to think twice before destroying the Mao Talisman sect. Doesn't this mean that Zhou Qing died in vain? For a moment, everyone sighed in their hearts. They felt pity for Zhou Qing. Everyone, it seems like we have underestimated Mo Qingyun's potential. I didn't expect him to kill Zhou Qing. Mo Chung immediately sighed when he saw that Zhou Qing had been killed by Mo Qingyun. His expression became a little more solemn as he said, "However, I'm afraid that there will be quite a lot of trouble if Mo Qingyun kills Zhou Qing. Looks like we need to step in. Won't the Wild Talisman sect be displeased with this?" Hearing Mo Cheng's words, an elder at the side revealed a troubled expression as he asked worriedly, "If they dare to be displeased, I don't mind leading the experts from the Sky Demon Talisman sect to destroy the Wild Talisman sect." Hearing Mo Cheng's words, an elder from the Sky Demon Talisman sect revealed a cold smile as a bloodthirsty aura emanated from his body. Hearing the words of the Sky Demon Talisman Sect's elder, the expressions of Imo, Chung, and the rest immediately changed as a trace of resistance appeared on their faces. It seemed like they didn't agree with the Sky Devil Talisman Sect's elder's suggestion. While everyone was talking about Imo Qingyun, he had already arrived near the cliff where the golden-winged heavenly talisman rock was. He was ready to kill the golden-winged heavenly talisman rock. When he arrived near the cliff, Imo Qingyun did not immediately kill the golden-winged heavenly talisman rock. Instead, he first observed the surroundings. Although the golden-winged heavenly talisman rock was powerful, they were demonic beasts that lived in groups. Therefore, Imo Qingyun had to be extremely careful. After all, with Imo Qingyun's cultivation, if he was ambushed by a golden-winged heavenly talisman rock, he would be in a very dangerous situation. After checking the surroundings, Imo Qingyun activated the immemorial demonic musical talisman and blasted a magical sound wave at the golden-winged heavenly talisman rock. Although the golden-winged heavenly talisman rock was powerful, they were not good at soul cultivation. Therefore, their soul strength was only comparable to 5 seals. Subsequently, when the golden-winged heavenly talisman rock was hit by the magical sound wave, they immediately became dizzy and began to spin in the air. Heavenly flames, sky-breaking halberd. Seeing this, Imo Qingyun's figure moved. With the scorching halberd in his hand, he charged towards the dizzy golden-winged heavenly talisman rock. As the halberd swept across, a red flowing halberd radiance shot out from the scorching halberd, emitting a terrifying aura. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Under Imo Qingyun's attack, a golden-winged heavenly talisman rock's body was instantly slashed open. Its wings were broken, and a hideous wound appeared on its body. Imo Qingyun did not show any mercy. He stabbed the golden-winged heavenly talisman rock with his halberd again, piercing through its body and killing it. After Imo Qingyun killed the golden-winged heavenly talisman rock, a spot of light flew out from its body and entered Imo Qingyun's scoreboard. 50,000 points, not bad. Seeing the increasing points on the scoreboard, Imo Qingyun smiled faintly. He was very satisfied with the results of his hunt. Then, Imo Qingyun continued to hunt the remaining golden-winged heavenly talisman rock to increase his points. Chapter 661. After a few hours, the light screen refreshed again. Lu Chao, who was in the 5th place, was finally overtaken by Imo Qingyun and dropped to the 6th place. Looking at the scene, the crowd outside the Valley of 1,000 Worlds was shocked, and they were stunned. Lu Chao was overtaken. Could it be that Imo Qingyun's power has surpassed the 5 unique geniuses? Look, Lu Chao's ranking has been overtaken, and he has dropped to the 6th place. Not only that, but the gap between Imo Qingyun and Zhou Jianfeng is also shrinking. Could it be that Imo Qingyun is going to overtake Zhou Jianfeng and rush into the 4th place? Imo Qingyun is so strong. No wonder Zhou Qing was killed by him. Looking at the scene, everyone was shocked, and they couldn't believe it. A person with the power of a beginner 5 seals had the fighting power of a quasi-7 seal expert. It was too shocking. Most importantly, Lu Chao, who was overtaken by Imo Qingyun, wasn't an ordinary quasi-7 seal expert. Lu Chao was the 5 unique sex genius, and he had the fighting power to challenge those of a higher rank. In that case, Imo Qingyun's real fighting power had reached the standard of a 7 seal expert. Then, everyone was shocked by their own deduction, and they didn't dare to continue guessing. 5th place? Looking at the change in Imo Qingyun's ranking, Feng Huai was stunned, and he lost the ability to think. Even a genius like the 5 unique geniuses had been overtaken by Imo Qingyun. It was too shocking. Can Qingyun's ranking continue to rise? After being stunned for a short while, Feng Huai and the rest looked nervous, and there was a strong expectation in their hearts. They knew clearly that the stronger Imo Qingyun's talent was, the more the 9 Seals sect would value him. By then, The Nine Seals sect might step in to resolve the matter of Mo Qingyun killing Zhou Qing. With the Nine Seals sect stepping in to resolve the grudge, even if the Wild Talisman sect was unhappy, they couldn't do anything about it. That kid actually entered the 5th place. This is going to be troublesome. Seeing that Mo Qingyun had entered the 5th place, the silver-haired elder of the Wild Talisman sect immediately frowned, a look of intense worry appearing on his face. The 10,000 Talismans Immortal Gathering was a test for the Nine Seals sect to recruit disciples. Once Mo Qingyun passed the test, he would be considered half a disciple of the Nine Seals sect. Soon after, he would be favored by the various Nine Seals sects. At that time, if the Wild Talisman sect wanted to deal with Mo Qingyun, they would have to think twice. After all, if they wanted to deal with Mo Qingyun, they would be indirectly going against the Nine Seals sect. This was not something that the Nine Seals sect would allow. With the talent and potential that this kid has displayed, I'm afraid that the Nine Seals sect will not agree to us making a move on him. The other elder of the Wild Talisman sect also had a solemn expression on his face as he couldn't help but voice out his concern. As the silver-haired elder's words fell, the expressions of the other members of the Wild Talisman sect immediately became heavy, and they remained silent. At this moment, in their hearts, they had already faintly guessed a possibility. It was likely that they would not be able to avenge Zhou Qing. There was no other way. If they wanted to avenge Zhou Qing, the risk they had to bear was too great. Disregarding the interference of the Nine Seals sect, if they were unable to kill Mo Qingyun and waited for Mo Qingyun to seek revenge in the future, it would be an extremely terrifying matter. One must know that with Mo Qingyun's talent value, he had the potential to become a Nine Seals expert. Good. With the potential that this kid has displayed, even if we have to destroy the Wild Talisman sect, it would be worth it. Seeing that Mo Qingyun's ranking had risen once again, a purple-haired elder of the Sky Demon Talisman sect said, with an excited expression, "If such a genius comes to our Sky Demon Talisman sect, he will definitely become the new demon emperor of the generation and lead our Sky Demon Talisman sect to prosperity." Hearing the Sky Demon Talisman sect elder's words, the expressions of Mo Chung and the rest froze, revealing some worry. They were very clear about the Sky Demon Talisman sect style of doing things. If the Sky Demon Talisman sect was allowed to rise, it would definitely set off a bloodbath. With Mo Qingyun's talent, once he became the leader of the Sky Demon Talisman sect, he might really be able to lead the Sky Demon Talisman sect to prosperity. Immediately, Mo Chung and the rest fell silent, each of them having their own thoughts. In the Myriad Worlds Valley, at this moment, while everyone was paying attention to Mo Qingyun's ranking, Invincible Blade and the rest also noticed the change in Mo Qingyun's ranking. He has entered the 5th place. Seeing that Mo Qingyun's ranking had shot up to the 5th place, Invincible Blade's face flashed with a tinge of surprise. He was surprised by the speed at which Mo Qingyun's ranking had risen. Although he had high hopes for Mo Qingyun, he had never expected that Mo Qingyun's ranking would rise so quickly. No wonder I have my eyes on you. You are indeed extraordinary. After a short moment of shock, Invincible Blade was pleasantly surprised. A strong fighting spirit erupted from his body, and he said, "Mo Qingyun, I hope you can grow faster. I can't wait any longer." Massacre Saber Rune. After saying those words of anticipation, Invincible Blade formed a hand seal and took out a saber rune from his body. As soon as the saber rune was taken out, it emitted a violent and bloody aura, causing people to unconsciously fear it. Slash. Invincible Blade pointed at the Massacre Saber rune and controlled it to slash at the person in front of him. Under the control of Invincible Blade, the Massacre Saber rune immediately shone brightly and condensed into a blade radiance that was dozens of meters long. Invincible Blade, don't kill me. I can give you my points. Seeing the powerful attack of Invincible Blade, the person's face immediately turned pale, and he quickly begged for mercy. It's too late. However, Invincible Blade chose to ignore his begging and controlled the Massacre Saber rune to slash without hesitation. Poof! As soon as the Massacre Saber rune landed, the person was killed on the spot, and he fell to the ground with a look of unwillingness. After killing the person, Invincible Blade came to his side and transferred the point from the person's points token to himself. Immediately, Invincible Blade's points increased by more than 100 million, and his points broke through to 500 million. As Invincible Blade's points broke through 500 million, his name on the leaderboard immediately flashed with golden light. Seeing Invincible Blade's name on the leaderboard, there was an uproar outside the Myriad World Valley. Look, Invincible Blade's points broke through 500 million, and his name turned golden. Invincible Blade is so powerful. I didn't expect his points to break through 500 million so quickly. The first place of the previous Myriad Talisman Immortal Gathering only had 400 million points. Yuan Ba's points also broke through 500 million, and his name turned golden. The 5 uniques of this Myriad Talisman Immortal Gathering are too powerful. Their strength has far surpassed the previous batch of geniuses. Han Rui, who was ranked 90th, and Lang Ping, who was ranked 74th, are both dead. Han Rui and Lang Ping should have been killed by Invincible Blade and the other two. Looks like the hunt has officially begun. I wonder how many people will die in the hunt. The cruel moment of the Myriad Talisman Immortal Gathering has arrived. The winner takes all. The feet of the winner are always covered with corpses. When they saw this scene, everyone sighed emotionally, and their hearts became heavy. Chapter 662. As the hunt officially came, the changes in the ranking on the screen became more and more intense. Every time the ranking was refreshed, there would definitely be a person's ranking that would soar. There would also be some people's names that would completely disappear from the screen. Lu Chao's ranking has overtaken Mo Qingyun's. It seems that he has hunted down a person who is in the top 200. Zhu Jinlan's name has also turned golden. His points have also exceeded 500 million. He is catching up with Yuan Ba and Invincible Blade. Look, Ma Lanshan's points have also overtaken Mo Qingyun's. He has rushed to the 6th position. Mo Qingyun's points have been increasing steadily. Could it be that he is still hunting demonic beasts and has not robbed the other disciples of their points? It seems to be the case. At this time, he is still hunting demonic beasts to obtain points. He is at a disadvantage. At that moment, everyone looked at the changes in Mo Qingyun's points and revealed a shocked expression. From everyone's point of view, the fastest way to obtain points at this time was to hunt down other disciples and rob them of their points. In the following time, the crowd hunted down other disciples and robbed them of their points. As Mo Qingyun did not hunt down other disciples and rob them of their points, his ranking was overtaken by others again and again. However, despite that, after 5 days, Mo Qingyun's points had successfully exceeded 500 million. As Mo Qingyun's points had exceeded 500 million, his name on the screen had also turned golden. 10th place, Mo Qingyun, points, 5037620. Looking at his points, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly. He was satisfied with the speed of his points increasing. Senior brother Mo and senior sister Zhilan have entered the top 1,000. At that moment, Mo Qingyun saw Mo Qing and He Zhilan's names on the screen. At this moment, Mo Qing and He Zhilan's rankings were respectively 987 and 984. Seeing Mo Qingyun's and He Zhilan's names, Mo Qingyun's heart skipped a beat. He frowned and said in a deep voice, "Now that there are endless killings in the Myriad World Valley, everyone wants to snatch the points of others. With senior brother Mo and senior sister Zhilan's strength, it is still very dangerous. It seems that I have to find them and meet up with them." After thinking about it this way, Mo Qingyun did not plan to delay any longer and prepared to meet up with Mo Qing and Mo Li. Following that, Mo Qingyun left the golden-winged heavenly seal Peng Cliff to look for Mo Qing and He Zhilan. I wonder if I'll be able to meet anyone who's willing to give me points while I'm searching for senior brother Mo and the others. After leaving the golden-winged, heavenly rune Peng cliff, Mo Qingyun went to look for Mo Qing and Mo. A strange thought arose in his mind. If someone dared to have designs on his points, he would not mind making a move to increase his points. As the golden-winged heavenly rune Peng was too strong, Mo Qingyun rarely met other disciples at the golden-winged heavenly rune Peng cliff. At that moment, as Mo Qingyun was heading towards the lower level area, some disciples from other sects gradually appeared in front of Mo Qingyun. At that moment, as Mo Qingyun was flying at full speed, 3 disciples with 6 seal cultivation sneered and quickly surrounded him. It seemed that these 3 people with 6 seal cultivation thought that Mo Qingyun was their prey. A kid with 6 seal cultivation. Although there's nothing special about snatching his points, it's better than nothing. The 3 youths arrived in front of Mo Qingyun and surrounded Mo Qingyun in the middle. One of the pockmarked youths said with disappointment. After saying those words, the pockmarked youth's face turned cold, and he said coldly to Mo Qingyun, "Kid, we, the 3 evils of the Eagle Swamp Valley, only snatch your points and not your life. Hand over your points." The 3 evils of the Lewd Valley? Hearing these 3 people's titles, Mo Qingyun was immediately stunned, and he unconsciously shook his head and smiled bitterly. These 3 guys' titles were really of the highest quality. Seeing Mo Qingyun shake his head and smile bitterly, the pockmarked youth immediately revealed a smug expression. In his opinion, Mo Qingyun was afraid. Then, a smug smile appeared on the pockmarked youth's face, and he said coldly, "Kid, let me tell you the truth. You're already lucky to have met the 3 of us. If you had met anyone else, it wouldn't have been as simple as handing over your points. Kid, don't waste everyone's time. Hurry up and hand over your points." After the pockmarked youth finished speaking, the other youth urged Mo Qingyun and said with an evil smile, "After you hand over your points, we, the 3 evils, will show you the way. Point me in the right direction." Hearing the words of the 3 evils, Mo Qingyun was stunned and revealed a trace of curiosity. He said, "Tell me, what kind of way are you going to show me? Originally, I was going to show you the way after you handed over your points. However, seeing that you're only at the initial stage of the 6th seal, I'll show you the way first." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the 3 evils hesitated for a moment and smiled at Mo Qingyun. "Kid, if you want to increase your points quickly in the 10,000 Talismans Immortal Gathering, you have to snatch the points of others. However, your cultivation is a little too weak. If you want to snatch the points of others, it's best to form a group with someone of similar strength." Next, the 3 of them explained to Mo Qingyun the various techniques to snatch other people's points, going from complicated to simple. Seeing the strange actions of the 3 evils, Mo Qingyun was immediately amused. The killing intent that rose in his heart towards them also disappeared. If the 3 malevolent spirits were to find out that their lives were saved because of his actions, they would probably feel very conflicted. "Thank you for your guidance. I've benefited greatly." Seeing that the 3 evils had finished speaking, Mo Qingyun stopped talking to them and said coldly to the Sweeping Eagle's 3 evils, "All right, let's cut the crap. Hand over your points. Seeing that you've given me guidance just now, I can spare your lives. Hand over our points, and you can spare our lives?" Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Sweeping Eagle's 3 evils were stunned. They were very surprised by Mo Qingyun's actions. At this moment, they were really confused by Mo Qingyun's actions and couldn't react in time. Mo Qingyun had learned how to snatch points from them and was actually going to use it on them? What kind of situation was this? Haha, I didn't expect you to have such potential. You're able to apply what you've learned so quickly. My guidance just now was not in vain. After a brief moment of shock, the 3 fiends laughed heartily. He praised Mo Qingyun and said, "You must remember one thing. That aura and ferociousness of yours just now. If it were someone with a lower cultivation than you, they would immediately be frightened by you and obediently hand over their points to you." Seeing the 3 evils' actions, Mo Qingyun immediately revealed a helpless expression. At this moment, he felt very conflicted. Chapter 663. Do you really think that I'm joking with you? After a short moment of silence, Mo Qingyun's expression turned cold as he spoke again. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the sweeping eagle three demons were stunned again. They were surprised by Mo Qingyun's attitude. After a short moment of shock, the pockmarked youth burst into laughter. He looked at the three demons and said, "Third brother, this kid is really good at pretending. I almost want to take him in as one of the four demons." "Boss, do you really want to take him in?" Hearing the pockmarked youth's words, the three demons' expression changed. He looked at Mo Qingyun and laughed. "Kid, even our boss praised you. You can finish your apprenticeship now. You can finish your apprenticeship now." Hearing the words of the three demons, Mo Qingyun was completely speechless. Thinking about it, these three guys just didn't believe his words. After a short moment of silence, Mo Qingyun took out the scorching flame halberd. It was rare for him to say anything more. Seeing Mo Qingyun take out the scorching flame halberd, the three demons' expression changed. They finally felt that something was wrong. Was this kid really going to rob them? Was he joking with them? "Brat, it seems that our compliments have inflated your self-confidence." Seeing that Mo Qingyun was really going to rob them, the three demons' expression immediately turned cold. He said coldly, "If that's the case, I'll let you know that the older the wiser. Second brother, third brother, let's do it together." As soon as the three demons finished speaking, the pockmarked young man gestured to the three demons and directly attacked Mo Qingyun. Seeing that the pockmarked youth was going to attack Mo Qingyun, the other two did not hesitate and attacked Mo Qingyun as well. Scorching flame halberd. Facing the pockmarked youth and the other two, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and directly attacked with the scorching flame halberd in his hand. Then, a terrifying aura erupted from the blazing halberd as it slashed out a dragon shadow that was dozens of meters long. The moment this dragon shadow appeared, it charged towards the pockmarked young man and the other two, instantly swallowing the three of them. So strong. Could this kid be one of the five uniques? How can he be so strong? How is this possible? How can a kid at the initial stage of the sixth seal have such a terrifying aura? At this moment, the sweeping eagle, three demons all revealed expressions of panic as they uttered words of fear. Bang, bang, bang. Struck by the dragon shadow halberd light, the sweeping eagle three demons were immediately sent flying, and they fell to the ground with heavy injuries. However, because Mo Qingyun showed mercy, the three of them were not killed immediately. After calming down the panic in his heart, the pockmarked young man no longer hesitated. He immediately begged Mo Qingyun for mercy. "Brother, big brother, on account of my third brother teaching you how to rob, can you not kill us? We could give you all of our points." After witnessing the power of Mo Qingyun's halberd, the pockmarked youth knew clearly that they were no match for Mo Qingyun. If they continued to fight, they would only be killed by Mo Qingyun. It was more practical to beg for mercy. "Hand over your points and get lost." Hearing the pockmarked youth's words, Mo Qingyun looked impatient and waved his hand at the three of them. "Yes, yes, yes." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the pockmarked youth immediately nodded in response. He took out his scoreboard and reluctantly handed it to Mo Qingyun. After that, Mo Qingyun took the scoreboard from the sweeping eagle's three evils and transferred their points to his scoreboard. What surprised Mo Qingyun was that the three of them did not have high cultivations, but they had quite a lot of points. Each of them had more than 10 million points. It seemed that taking over the mountain and robbing people's points was indeed much faster than killing demonic beasts. With the addition of the points from the sweeping eagle three demons, Mo Qingyun's points immediately shot up by tens of millions, surpassing the ninth place. After transferring the points from the sweeping eagle three demons to himself, Mo Qingyun returned their scoreboards to them and said impatiently, "All right, the three of you can leave now. Thank you, big brother, for sparing our lives." Seeing that Mo Qingyun had asked the three of them to leave, the Sweeping Eagle three demons were elated. It was as if they had heard the most beautiful music in the world. Wait. However, before the Sweeping Eagle three demons could turn around and leave, Mo Qingyun frowned slightly and called out to the three of them. Plop! Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Sweeping Eagle three demons' faces twitched, and they immediately knelt down before Mo Qingyun. Big brother, we've given you our points. Please don't kill us. Big brother, if you really can't do it, let us go first. We'll help you get the points and return them to you. That's right. As long as you don't kill us, we'll do anything. At this moment, the Sweeping Eagle three demons were on the verge of tears. They were afraid that Mo Qingyun would change his mind. Don't worry. Since I said that I won't kill you, I won't change my mind. Seeing the Sweeping Eagle three demons' reaction, Mo Qingyun shook his head helplessly and said, I stopped the three of you because I want to ask about two people. Big brother, just ask. We'll tell you what we know. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, the Sweeping Eagle three demons immediately relaxed and promised Mo Qingyun. All right. Seeing the three's attitude, Mo Qingyun nodded his head in satisfaction and raised his hand to draw on the shadow. In a short while, Mo Qingyun drew the images of Mo Qing and He Zhilan. Mo Qingyun had a solemn expression on his face as he drew the images of Mo Qing and the other man. He asked the Sweeping Eagle Evils, have you seen the two people in this image before? These two people are... Looking at the images of Mo Qing and He Zhilan, the Sweeping Eagle three demons pondered and tried their best to recall. I got it. After a while, the three demons revealed a surprised expression and said excitedly to Mo Qingyun, Big brother, I've seen the three of them. They seem to have gone to the Sawtooth, Rune Tiger Valley. Third brother, you've really seen the two of them. You can't speak nonsense. Otherwise, you'll waste my precious time. Hearing the three demons' words, the pockmarked young man's expression froze, and he quickly confirmed it with the three demons. He was worried that the three demons' words were purposely made up to fool Mo Qingyun in order to get Mo Qingyun to let them go. In the pockmarked young man's opinion, although they could lie to Mo Qingyun, they would have to bear the wrath of Mo Qingyun, which would be even more terrifying. Big brother, of course I've seen them. Do you think I'd dare to lie to you? Hearing the pockmarked young man's words, the three demons' expression turned serious. He looked at the two demons and said, If you don't believe me, you can ask second brother. When we were in the Sawtooth, Rune Tiger Valley, I told him that there was a beautiful girl in a red dress. Yes. Third brother said so. I remember now. That girl. Then, the two demons reported the situation to Mo Qingyun in detail. If that's the case, it shouldn't be wrong. Chapter 664. Without hesitation, Mo Qingyun activated his scoreboard and searched for the location of the Sawtooth Tiger Valley. Sawtooth Tiger Valley, middle level 6 seal area, located after a while, Mo Qingyun found the location of the Sawtooth Tiger Valley on the scoreboard. After finding out the approximate location of the Sawtooth Tiger Valley, Mo Qingyun floated into the air and flew towards the Sawtooth Tiger Valley. Phew, he's finally gone. Seeing Mo Qingyun leave, the Sweeping Eagle trio relaxed and let out a deep breath. How did this happen? Didn't they say that the older the ginger, the spicier it is? Why is it that the student has surpassed the master? After calming himself down, the three fiends bitterly smiled and said gloomily, That's right, you're right. Hearing the third demon's words, the pockmarked youth was enraged and scolded him. Idiot, this isn't the student surpassing the master. It should be called teaching the disciple to starve the master to death. Hearing the pockmarked youth and the third demon's words, the second demon was speechless. Hearing the pockmarked youth scolding, the third demon laughed awkwardly and asked curiously, Boss, do you know who that kid is? He's only at the beginner level 6 seal, but he has the strength of a 7th seal. This kid's strength is too abnormal. If I'm not wrong, he's probably Mo Qingyun. Hearing the third demon's question, the pockmarked youth's face was filled with respect, and said seriously, "Based on the strength he just displayed, he's definitely in the top 20. I know a little about the top 20, but I know nothing about that Mo Qingyun." The pockmarked young man paused for a moment before he said, "Besides Mo Qingyun, the cultivations of the people in the top 20 are all between the peak of the 6th seal and the quasi-7th seal. So, it's very likely that he's Mo Qingyun." Hiss. So that guy is Mo Qingyun. No wonder he could kill Zhou Qing. That was close. He even dared to kill Zhou Qing. If he wants to kill us, we definitely won't be able to survive. This time, the three of us managed to escape with our lives. Hearing the pockmarked young man's words, the expressions of the two men beside him twitched, and a sense of lingering fear rose in their hearts. "Let's go." The pockmarked young man had a fearful expression on his face. He gestured to the two of them and got up to leave. "Big brother, are we still going to rob others?" Seeing the pockmarked young man stand up and leave, the three demons looked confused and asked, "Of course we have to rob others. Otherwise, where are we going to get points?" When he heard the words of the three evils, the pockmarked youth smiled evilly and said, "However, our next target will no longer be those with 6 seals cultivation, but those with 5 seals cultivation. I hope that when I reach the serrated Tiger Valley, senior brother Mo Qing and senior sister Dalan will still be there." After parting with the pockmarked youth and the other two, Mo Qingyun rushed to the serrated Tiger Valley to meet up with Mo Qing and Jalan. The serrated Tiger Valley was not close to the sweeping Eagle Valley. With Mo Qingyun's current flying speed, it would take at least 3 days to reach there. Hence, Mo Qingyun was a little worried. By the time he reached the serrated Tiger Valley, Mo Qing and Jalan would have already left. Mo Qingyun spent the rest of the time on the road at full speed. Of course, in the process of Mo Qingyun's journey, he met many people who wanted to rob him of his points. It couldn't be helped. A beginner stage 6 seals cultivation was not too high in the Myriad World Valley, and the points they had were far more than those with 5 seals cultivation. They were the best targets to rob. However, these people who robbed Mo Qingyun of his points were all robbed by Mo Qingyun in the end. After knowing that these people's points were replenished, Mo Qingyun's ranking rose again, back to the 7th position. As Mo Qingyun traveled, he kept an eye on Mo Qing and Jilan's ranking to determine if they were in trouble. From Mo Qingyun's point of view, if Mo Qing and Jilan's points increased steadily, it meant that they were hunting demonic beasts and did not encounter any trouble. However, if their points were stagnant, it meant that they might have encountered some trouble and were unable to continue hunting demonic beasts to obtain points. What made Mo Qingyun feel fortunate was that on his journey to the serrated Tiger Valley, Mo Qing and Jilan's points had been increasing slowly. This meant that the two of them did not encounter any danger and had been hunting demonic beasts in an orderly manner to obtain points. Although the two of them did not obtain points quickly, it allowed them to barely maintain their ranking, barely hanging on to the 1,000th position. In the blink of an eye, 3 days had passed. After 3 days of traveling, Mo Qingyun finally neared the serrated Tiger Valley and prepared to enter the interior of the serrated Tiger Valley. However, at this moment, Mo Qingyun's eyebrows were tightly knitted together as an intense worry appeared on his face. This was because Mo Qingyun discovered that in the past few hours, Mo Qing and Jilan's points had stopped increasing. This meant that Mo Qing and Jilan might have encountered danger. Senior Mo and Senior Jilan have encountered danger? As this thought rose in his mind, Mo Qingyun's face turned cold and a murderous aura emitted from his body as he said, "No matter who you are, if you dare to touch Senior Mo and Senior Jilan, I will definitely destroy your sect." Transfer gate. Immediately, Mo Qingyun did not want to delay any longer and immediately used the transfer gate to travel. After Mo Qingyun used the transfer gate, his traveling speed immediately increased by several times, becoming several times faster than before. 15 minutes later, Mo Qingyun entered the interior of the serrated Tiger Valley and saw a few disciples hunting demonic beasts. Let's find someone to ask about Senior Mo and Senior Zhilan's location. Seeing those disciples hunting demonic beasts, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately flew towards them. From Mo Qingyun's point of view, finding someone to ask about Mo Qing and He Zhilan's whereabouts would make it easier to find them faster. After all, the serrated Tiger Valley was not small. If he were to search around like a headless fly, even if he searched for 10 days, he would not be able to find Mo Qing and He Zhilan. Seeing Mo Qingyun fly towards them, this group of people revealed vigilant expressions as they were all on guard against Mo Qingyun attacking them. Seeing these people's actions, Mo Qingyun helplessly smiled. Looks like they were afraid of being robbed. Let's take the initiative and not give this brat any time to prepare. Cautiously looking at Mo Qingyun, one of the people in the group nervously said, "That's right. Let's attack together and defeat this brat. I don't want anyone to steal my points anymore." Then Mo Qingyun saw these people charging at him one by one, as if they were ready to die. Chapter 665. Seeing that everyone was attacking him, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately took out the blazing halberd. Once the blazing halberd was in his hand, Mo Qingyun's figure moved and charged towards them. Blazing heaven-breaking halberd. In a few flashes, Mo Qingyun arrived in front of the crowd. He immediately slashed out with his halberd and slashed out a shocking dragon shadow halberd light. Roar! Once the dragon shadow halberd light was slashed out, it let out a deep dragon roar and emitted a domineering dragon aura. Following which, the dragon shadow halberd light that was dozens of meters long enveloped the crowd. So strong. How can a 6-seal initial stage brat have such battle strength? How can this be? My points have already been robbed more than 10 times. Don't tell me I'm going to be robbed again. What's the big deal about being robbed more than 10 times? I've already been robbed more than 30 times. You're really lucky. You've been robbed more than 30 times and you're still alive. In an instant, these people's faces were filled with bitterness and a strong sense of panic rose in their hearts. The battle strength that Mo Qingyun displayed had greatly exceeded their expectations. Don't talk nonsense. Let's join forces to block him. Hearing the words of the people beside him, the leader of the crowd revealed an anxious expression and urged the people beside him. Hearing this person's words, the others did not dare to be distracted. They all used their full strength to block Mo Qingyun's halberd. However, in the face of Mo Qingyun's halberd, their defense was useless. They were instantly defeated by the dragon shadow halberd light. Bang, bang, bang. Following which, under the impact of the dragon shadow halberd light, these people were all tyrannically flung backwards. Puff! Receiving the powerful attack of the dragon shadow halberd light, everyone spat out blood. Their faces turned pale, and their eyes revealed intense despair. Were they really going to have their points stolen again? At this moment, when these people's faces were filled with despair, Mo Qingyun did not attack them again. Instead, he revealed a cold expression and raised his hand to draw in the air. Not long later, Mo Qingyun and He Zhilan's images were drawn out by Mo Qingyun. After drawing the images of Mo Qingyun and Mo Qing, Mo Qingyun revealed a solemn expression as he looked at the crowd and asked, "Have you seen the two people in this image before?" "This, senior brother, are you looking for the two of them?" Looking at the images of the Mo Qingyun duo, everyone was shocked. They didn't expect that Mo Qingyun was here to look for the two of them. Knowing that Mo Qingyun was looking for Mo Qing and Mo, and not to snatch their points, the expressions on everyone's faces relaxed. Hearing this, Mo Qingyun's expression became a little excited. He hurriedly asked everyone again, "Do you know where they are now?" Earlier, we saw them being chased and fleeing towards the south of the jagged Tiger Valley. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, these people didn't dare to hesitate and hurriedly replied to Mo Qingyun, "As for where they are now, we don't know." After the crowd finished speaking, one of them said, "Senior brother, the two of them seem to have been implicated by Mo Qingyun. Shadow Talisman Sect and Sword Talisman Sect took their anger out on them, and they were chased by many sects that relied on Shadow Talisman Sect and Sword Talisman Sect. Senior brother, you'd better keep a distance from them to avoid being implicated. Senior brother Mo Qing and senior brother Zhilan are indeed in danger. Hearing these people's words, Mo Qingyun's expression immediately turned cold. The guess in his heart was confirmed. The affiliated sects of the Shadow Talisman Sect and the Sword Talisman Sect. Since you're willing to get involved, don't blame me for being ruthless. Knowing the situation of the two of them, Mo Qingyun's body immediately emitted a murderous intent. He said coldly, "Zhu Jinlan, Chou Jianfeng, since you're in a hurry to die, I'll fulfill your wish." What Mo Qingyun hated the most was when others attacked the people around him in order to deal with him. With Mo Qingyun's intelligence, he could naturally guess that the reason why the two of them were being chased by the two sects was because of Zhu Jinlan and Chou Jianfeng. Immediately, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and immediately turned to the south of the jagged Tiger Valley. Do you guys think that the person who went to look for Mo Qing and the other two would be able to rescue them? It's hard to say. That buried Sword Talisman sect is a top 7 seal sect, and Zhang Heng is a quasi-7 seal expert. He's not that easy to deal with. Whether he can rescue the two of them, we'll know by looking at the rankings. That's right. If he goes to rescue the two of them, he'll definitely fight with the people from the buried Sword Talisman sect. At that time, if the names of the people from the buried Sword Talisman sect disappear from the rankings, it means that that person has killed the people from the buried Sword Talisman sect. On the other hand, doesn't that mean that he's unable to save the two of them? Seeing Mo Qingyun turn and leave, these people's expressions became nervous as they started to pay attention to the rankings. After finding out the specific location of the two of them from those people, Mo Qingyun's efficiency in finding the two of them immediately increased by a lot. After asking a few more people, Mo Qingyun finally saw the figures of Mo Qing and He Jilan in the south of the jagged Tiger Valley. At this moment, the two of them looked a little miserable. There were quite a few wounds all over their bodies, and even their clothes were somewhat tattered. Especially the dress on He Jilan's body. It was especially obvious that it was tattered. Some sensitive parts of her face could not even be covered. From the tattered gaps in her clothes, one could vaguely see He Jilan's snow-white skin, causing one's imagination to run wild. At this moment, there were still over 10 people chasing behind the two of them. It seemed that the injuries of the two of them were caused by them. These people's strengths were not weak. Every one of them had the cultivation of 6 seal advanced, and the strongest amongst them had reached half a step in his 7th seal. However, from the actions of these people, it seemed that they did not intend to kill the two of them. Instead, they were toying with the two of them. Seeing that the two of them were only injured and running for their lives, and were not caught by the people from the buried Sword Talisman sect, Mo Qingyun's expression became much more relaxed. As long as the two of them did not fall into the hands of the people from the buried Sword Talisman sect, it would be very easy for him to save the two of them. After that, Mo Qingyun's figure moved and turned into a ray of light as he flew towards the two of them. "Ah, senior brother Zhang Heng, quickly look at that girl's armpit. It's already showing. Senior brother Zhang Heng, you're indeed an expert in flirting. This kind of flirting technique is simply too high. Yeah, even I can't hold it in any longer. My essence is about to explode. Haha, don't be anxious. After I, your senior brother, finish enjoying, it will be your turn." As Mo Qingyun approached the two of them, the words of the people from the buried Sword Talisman sect entered Mo Qingyun's ears one after another. Chapter 666. 7 Swords Unbound Talisman. When Mo Qingyun quickly approached, Zhang Heng took out a talisman and quickly detonated it. Once the talisman was detonated, it released a dazzling light and emitted a powerful aura. Immediately after, Zhang Heng forcefully smashed the 7 Swords Unbound Talisman into the ground. Once the 7 Swords Unbound Talisman was smashed into the ground, it quickly moved towards Mo Qing and Mo Qingyun. Clang, clang, clang. Under the Seven Swords Unbound Talisman's rapid movement, sounds of metal colliding came from the ground and set off a dust storm. The Seven Swords Unbound Talisman's movement speed was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, it arrived below Mo Qing and Mo Qingyun. Explode. Seeing that the Seven Swords Unbound Talisman had arrived below Mo Qing and Mo Qingyun, Zhang Heng formed a hand seal and directly detonated the Seven Swords Unbound Talisman. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Following that, sounds of sharp swords resonated from below Mo Qing and Mo Qingyun's feet. After the sounds of the swords resonated, everyone saw 7 golden lights overbearingly breaking through the ground below Mo Qing and Mo Qingyun's feet. Once the 7 sharp sword lights appeared, they pierced towards Mo Qing and Mo Qingyun with an unstoppable force. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Under the bombardment of the 7 sword lights, Mo Qing and Mo Qingyun's bodies were once again slashed with wounds, and their clothes were even more tattered. Poof! Receiving the powerful bombardment of the 7 sword lights, Mo Qing and Mo Qingyun were directly sent flying and fell to the ground with heavy injuries as they vomited blood. After Hejilan fell to the ground, her perfect body was immediately faintly discernible from her tattered clothes. The dress on Hejilan's body was so tattered that it could barely cover her body, revealing her snow-white skin. Looking at Hejilan's faintly discernible skin, the people from the sword-bearing talisman sect immediately smiled lewdly and walked towards Hejilan step by step. Seeing Zhang Heng and Mo Qingyun's approach, Hejilan's face immediately paled, and a trace of despair flashed in her eyes. Could it be that she really could not escape from the tiger's mouth? At that moment, when Hejilan's heart was filled with despair, a white coat was draped over her body and covered her exposed skin. Seeing this scene, Hejilan was absent-minded, and her face was filled with astonishment. After being momentarily stunned, Hejilan and Mo Qing turned their heads and looked towards the figure beside them. Then, a familiar face entered her line of sight. When they saw the appearance of the person beside them, brilliant smiles appeared on their faces. Mo Qingyun was here. Junior brother Mo. Seeing Mo Qingyun appear in time, Hejilan's expression relaxed, and her face revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. As far as they were concerned, so long as Mo Qingyun arrived, then the members of the Sword Burial Talisman School were nothing to worry about. One had to know that Mo Qingyun was ranked 6th on the rankings. Even Zhou Qing, who was originally ranked 6th, had been killed by him. Although Zhang Heng's strength was not bad, he had not made it into the top 10. There was still a big gap between him and Zhou Qing. Since Mo Qingyun could even kill Zhou Qing, there was naturally no problem for him to deal with Zhang Heng. Senior brother Mo, senior sister Zhilan, I've implicated you again. Mo Qingyun helped Hejilan put on a large gown. Then, he revealed a faint smile as he spoke apologetically. You're finally here. If you didn't come, your woman would have been sullied by someone else. Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Hejilan coquettishly glared at him, and a trace of hidden bitterness flashed in her eyes. Your woman would be sullied by someone else? Hearing Hejilan's words, Mo Qingyun and Mo Qing were instantly speechless, and a bitter smile appeared on their faces. They truly did not expect that Hejilan would still be able to say such words at this moment. Compared to Mo Qingyun and Mo Qingyun's feelings, Zhang Heng and the rest were undoubtedly envious to the extreme. Such a beauty like Hejilan was actually taken by this brat in front of them. This was truly hard for them to accept. Femme fatale. Seeing the change in expression of Zhang Heng and the rest, Mo Qingyun helplessly shook his head, and a sigh rose in his heart. Naturally, he could tell that because of Hejilan's words, Zhang Heng and the rest already had the intention to kill him. However, with regards to this, Mo Qingyun did not mind. After all, even if Hejilan did not say such words, Zhang Heng and the rest would not let him off. Of course, he would not let Zhang Heng and the rest off. Senior brother Zhang Heng, this brat actually took your cabbage. You absolutely cannot let him off. Glaring angrily at Mo Qingyun, a sword burial symbol sect disciple, furiously said to Zong Heng. Senior brother Zong Heng, let me take action for you. First, let me kill this brat. Following the former's words, another person furiously said as he prepared to directly attack Mo Qingyun. Zong Huan, don't kill this brat first. Just cripple him first. Hearing Zong Huan's words, a cold smile appeared on Zong Heng's face as he instructed Zong Huan and said, later, I want to have sex with her cabbage in front of this brat. Senior brother Zong Heng, you are indeed a flower expert. You actually thought of such a trick. As soon as I think of such a scene, I'm slightly impatient. Senior brother Zong Huan, quickly deal with that brat so that I can start the exciting show. As soon as Zong Heng finished speaking, the sword burial symbol sect disciples immediately laughed evilly, and their faces revealed impatient expressions. All right. Hearing everyone's words, Zong Huan didn't hesitate any longer and immediately raised his hand to form a seal. Subsequently, Mo Qingyun saw a sword talisman being withdrawn from Zong Huan's body. As soon as this sword talisman was withdrawn, it emitted an ancient aura as well as the aura of time that had been sealed away. Senior brother Zong Huan is so strong. I never imagined that his origin sword talisman would actually condense time sword insight. If it's like this, then senior brother Zong Huan's current combat strength ought to be able to battle a half-step 7th seal expert. Looks like senior brother Zong Huan is planning to use that brat's fresh blood to open his origin sword talisman. Sensing the aura of time within Zong Heng's sword talisman, the other disciples of the sword burial symbol sect all revealed reverence as they looked at Zong Huan. Brat, you'll be the first soul to die under my origin sword talisman. As soon as Zong Huan finished speaking, he controlled the origin sword talisman and forcefully slashed it towards Mo Qingyun. Under the bombardment of Zong Huan's origin sword talisman, it immediately slashed out an imposing sword light that swept towards Mo Qingyun. Looks like Zong Huan's strength has increased quite a bit recently. Now, even if I want to defeat him, I'm afraid that it will take some effort. Seeing Zong Heng's attack, Zong Heng also revealed a somewhat surprised expression as he spoke words of praise. Hearing Zong Heng's words, the other disciples of the sword burial symbol sect were all shocked, and their admiration for Zong Huan grew even more. However, at this moment, when the sword burial symbol sect's disciples were in awe, an illusory sound wave instantly blasted into their minds. As the illusory sound wave rushed into their minds, they became somewhat stupefied as their consciousness fell into an illusion. Chapter 667 / In the face of Mo Qingyun's halberd, Zong Huan, who was still in a daze, was pierced through the chest by the halberd before she could react. Mo Qingyun's halberd pierced through Zong Huan's chest. Zong Huan immediately let out a blood-curdling scream as he recovered from his daze. Zong Huan's eyes widened as he stared at Mo Qingyun in disbelief. He could not believe that this was real. In just one exchange of blows, Mo Qingyun's halberd had pierced through his chest. The halberd had severed his life force. Before Zong Huan could finish his sentence, his body went limp and slid off the halberd. He fell to the ground dead. Zong Huan's blood-curdling scream caused Zong Heng and the rest to recover from their daze. When Zong Heng and the rest regained their senses and saw Zong Huan lying dead on the ground, they were immediately dumbfounded. Zong Huan was dead. In just a few breaths' time, Zong Huan, who was still imposing just a moment ago, was killed by Mo Qingyun just like that. Originally, they thought that Zong Huan should be the one to kill Mo Qingyun as easily as killing a chicken or a dog. But now, the situation was completely reversed. It had happened so quickly and so suddenly that they were not prepared for it at all. You kill Zong Huan? After being stunned for a short while, Zong Heng's face was filled with shock as he said something shocking. Don't worry, you'll end up like him later. In response to Zong Heng's words, Mo Qingyun's expression was cold as he replied, Arrogant brat, do you think you're one of the 5 uniques? Zong Heng's face darkened when he heard Mo Qingyun's words. His eyes darkened as he said, I wanted to let you watch your woman perform before you die, but I've changed my mind. I want to kill you directly. Myriad Spirit, Sword, Tomb, Talisman. As soon as Zhang Heng finished speaking, he immediately took out a talisman and quickly activated it. Boom, boom, boom. As the Myriad Spirit Sword Tomb Talisman was activated, the surrounding ground immediately began to shake, and cracks that were hundreds of meters long appeared. Following that, streaks of sword light slowly emerged from the cracks, emitting a sharp aura. When they saw Zhang Heng make a move, the expressions of the surrounding disciples of the sword-bearing talisman school immediately became excited. Senior brother Zhang Heng is so strong. I didn't expect his natal sword talisman to have already transformed into the Myriad Spirit Sword Tomb Talisman. As long as senior brother Zhang Heng keeps refining these talismans and fusing them with his Myriad Spirit Sword Tomb Talisman, his natal talisman will be completed. Although this Myriad Spirit Sword Grave Talisman hasn't been fused with other talismans, this attack isn't something that an ordinary 7-seal expert can withstand. Seeing Zhang Heng make a move, the other disciples of the sword-bearing talisman gate immediately revealed expressions of adoration. While the people from the sword-bearing talisman school were whispering to each other, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately performed his martial soul divine ability. Even a lion would use its full strength to hunt a rabbit. Faced with Zhang Heng's full strength attack, Mo Qingyun naturally would not hold back. Door of Seals, seal for me. As soon as the seal gate was unleashed, a mini version of the light gate rapidly condensed and shot towards Zhang Heng with great force. Puff! Then, Zhang Heng was hit by the Door of Seals, and his spiritual soul was immediately suppressed and sealed. Zhang Heng, who was activating the Myriad Spirit Sword Tomb Talisman, suddenly felt his spiritual soul being suppressed, which immediately made him feel absent-minded. Puff! Then, Zhang Heng spat out a mouthful of blood. His face turned pale, and his aura weakened rapidly. After a while, Zhang Heng's aura fell from the half-7 seal level to the peak of the 5 seal level. The peak of the 5 seal level. Sensing the change in his cultivation, Zhang Heng's expression immediately twitched, and his face was immediately filled with panic. He said, How could this be? How did my cultivation become the peak of the 5 seal level? Zhang Heng's cultivation had been suppressed by nearly a level. This was simply too unbelievable for him. After a short period of panic, Zhang Heng did not hesitate and immediately said to the people behind him, This guy is a little strange. Don't just stand there, follow me to deal with him. Yes, senior brother Zhang Heng. Hearing Zhang Heng's words, the people of the buried sword talisman school revealed fear, but they still attacked together with Zhang Heng. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Seeing that the people of the buried sword talisman school were about to attack together, Mo Qingyun did not hesitate and immediately activated the primordial demonic sound talisman. Then, wave after wave of demonic sound waves were released from the primordial demonic sound talisman and blasted into the minds of the people of the buried sword talisman school. Puff, puff, puff. After being hit by the sound waves of the primordial demonic sound talisman, the people of the buried sword talisman school immediately spat out a mouthful of blood, and their footsteps became somewhat unsteady. At the same time, the people of the buried sword talisman school were rudely interrupted at this moment. After activating the primordial demonic sound talisman to interrupt the people of the buried sword talisman school, Mo Qingyun's hands did not stop moving, and his body moved to kill the people of the buried sword talisman school. Skybreaking Flame Halberd. After a few flashes, he arrived in front of the people of the buried sword talisman school, and Mo Qingyun raised his halberd and slashed out. Under this halberd strike, flames instantly surged on the halberd, and the image of a dragon coiled and emitted a shocking dragon might. After that, everyone saw the image of a dragon halberd light carry along an all-powerful force as it swallowed the people of the buried sword talisman school. The people of the buried sword talisman school were swallowed by the image of the dragon halberd light, and they emitted a series of shrill cries as they begged for mercy from Mo Qingyun. Senior brother, we were wrong. Please spare us. My leg is crippled. I don't want to die yet. I haven't enjoyed a woman. For a time, various sounds of begging for mercy and unwillingness sounded out successively from the people of the buried Sword Talisman School. Blood Sword Talisman Seal. At this moment, when everyone was begging for mercy, a blood-colored sword seal flew out from the image of the dragon halberd light and blasted towards Emo Qingyun with extreme speed. Blood Sword Talisman Seal? After seeing the Blood Sword Talisman Seal, Emo Qingyun's face revealed some surprise, as he was somewhat surprised that Zhang Heng also had this trump card. It just so happens that I can't find Zhu Jinlan and the others. Now, I can use this Blood Talisman Sword Seal to make Zhu Jinlan and the others come find me. However, after a short moment of surprise, Emo Qingyun's heart moved, and a brilliant smile appeared on his face. After that, Emo Qingyun no longer dodged and allowed the Blood Talisman Sword Seal to strike him. Kid, now that you've been struck by the Blood Sword Seal, you can wait for the endless pursuit. Seeing the Blood Sword Seal strike Emo Qingyun, Zhang Heng immediately revealed a complacent sneer, as if he could see Emo Qingyun's fate. Endless pursuit? I don't think so. Chapter 668. After I kill Zhu Jinlan and the others and steal their points, I should be able to enter first place. Emo Qingyun was filled with anticipation when he thought about killing Zhu Jinlan and the others and stealing their points. That way, his points would surpass the invincible blades, and he would be able to obtain first place in the Myriad Talisman Immortal Gathering. At that time, he would be able to obtain the Ancient World Crossing Stone and allow the 9 temples to set up the World Crossing Array to return to the Heavenly Soul Continent. Emo Qingyun was filled with excitement when he thought of this. He could not wait any longer. Kill Zhu Jinlan and the others and steal their points? Zhang Heng's expression changed when he heard Emo Qingyun's words. He was shocked by Emo Qingyun's words. Emo Qingyun was plotting against Zhu Jinlan and the others. In the entire Myriad World Valley, Emo Qingyun was probably the only person who dared to plot against the 5 Uniques prodigies. Crazy, this was crazy. You lunatic. Aren't you afraid of the 5 Uniques' sex revenge? After thinking about it this way, Zhang Heng revealed a crazed expression and roared at Emo Qingyun. In Zhang Heng's opinion, if Emo Qingyun was not a lunatic, he would not have such thoughts. The 5 Uniques' sex revenge. Emo Qingyun curled his lips in disdain when he heard Zhang Heng's words. He said nonchalantly, "When I obtain first place in the Myriad Talisman Immortal Gathering and become a true disciple of the 9 Seals sect, it will not be the 5 Uniques sect taking revenge on me. It will be me venting my anger on them." Hiss! Zhang Heng gasped when he heard Emo Qingyun's words. He vaguely understood something. Zhang Heng looked at Emo Qingyun in awe and asked in panic, Who are you? Who am I? Emo Qingyun looked at Zhang Heng with disdain when he heard his words. He said coldly, "Didn't you people from the Burying Sword Talisman sect receive instructions from Zhu Jinlan to deal with me? How can you not know who I am?" You're Emo Qingyun." Hearing Emo Qingyun's words, Zhang Heng immediately guessed Emo Qingyun's identity, and a look of intense shock appeared on his face. He had never thought that Emo Qingyun would be so daring. Facing the pursuit of Zhu Jinlan and the others, not only did Emo Qingyun not obediently hide, he even had designs on Zhu Jinlan and the others. However, he had to admit that Emo Qingyun did indeed have the ability to compete with Zhu Jinlan. No wonder Zhou Qin died in your hands. At this moment, Zhang Heng finally understood why Zhou Qin had died in Emo Qingyun's hands. With the combat strength that Emo Qingyun had displayed, killing Zhou Qin was simply too easy. "I've told you so much, it's time to send you on your way." Looking at the shocked faces of Zhang Heng and the others, Emo Qingyun did not waste any more time with them and directly attacked them. At this moment, Zhang Heng and the others were already at the end of their rope. Facing Mo Qingyun's powerful attacks, they were practically slaughtered like chickens and pottery dogs. Very quickly, Zhang Heng and the others' faces were filled with unwillingness and despair. Under Mo Qingyun's attacks, they were forcefully killed. After killing Zhang Heng and the others, Mo Qingyun no longer hesitated and took their Qinquan bags and scoreboards. Senior Mo, Senior Zhilan, take these scoreboards. After taking Zhang Heng and the other scoreboards, Mo Qingyun handed Zhang Huan and the other scoreboards to Mo Qing and Mo Zhilan respectively. In Mo Qingyun's opinion, with his current points, Zhang Huan and the others' points were not of much use to him. It was better to give Zhang Huan and the others' points to Mo Qing and Mo Zhilan so that the two of them could raise their rankings. Junior Mo. Seeing Mo Qingyun's actions, Mo Qing's expression was immediately shocked. He was extremely shocked by Mo Qingyun's actions. Junior Mo, if you give their points to me, won't it affect your ranking? At this moment, He Zhilan was the same as Mo Qing. She also revealed a shocked expression and said a worried sentence. She was worried that Mo Qingyun's apprehension toward the two of them would affect his final results. If that was the case, she would rather not give up these points and let Mo Qingyun obtain a better result. Senior Mo, Senior Zhilan, you don't have to worry. These points won't affect my final results. Seeing Mo Qing and Mo Zhilan's reactions, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and waved his hand. He comforted them and said, "When I kill Zhu Jinlan and the others and snatch their points, my ranking will be able to directly enter first place." Hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Mo Qing and Mo Zhilan stopped thinking about it and started to transfer Zhang Huan and the others' points. In that case, we will take these points first. If you don't have enough points by then, we will transfer the points to you. After transferring Zhang Huan and the others' points to his own scoreboard, Mo Qing revealed a solemn expression and told Mo Qingyun, "All right." Hearing Mo Qing's words, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and nodded. He did not say much to him. From his point of view, as long as he had enough points, there was no need for Mo Qing and Mo Zhilan to transfer their points to him. After telling Mo Qing and Mo Zhilan, Mo Qingyun transferred Zhang Heng's points to his scoreboard. With the transfer of Zhang Heng's points, Mo Qingyun's ranking rose again, and he surpassed Lu Chao, who was in 5th place. 5th place. Seeing that his ranking had risen to 5th place again, Mo Qingyun smiled faintly and thought to himself, "Next, I only need to wait for Zhu Jinlan and the others to come after me. I hope that they can come quickly so that I can stabilize my ranking earlier." Mo Qingyun thought for a while and smiled faintly at Mo Qing and Mo Zhilan. Once the pockmarked youth's name, demons and demons, eagles and third demons. At this moment, the sweeping eagle ominous threes plan was very simple, and that was to take advantage of the fact that the other party had yet to react and catch them off guard. What happened next was just as the sweeping eagle evils had expected. The three opponents were indeed caught off guard by their attacks. "Stop! Stop it! Do you know who we are?" Facing the attack of the eagle sweep three evils, the three revealed panicked expressions and shouted at the eagle sweep three evils, "I don't care who you are. I only know that we are robbing you." Hearing the other party's words, the three demons revealed a look of disdain and said mockingly, "We are disciples of the Blood Sword Talisman sect. This is the younger brother of the Sword Talisman sect's genius, Zhu Jinlan. If you hurt senior brother Zhu Dongyang's body, you can wait for the Sword Talisman sect's revenge." After hearing the words of the three demons, the three people from the Blood Sword Talisman Gate became furious and started to angrily rebuke the three demons again. Bah! The evil three's expression became even more disdainful when he heard the three's words. He spat on Zhu Jinlan's face and said, "If he's Zhu Jinlan's younger brother, then I'm Zhu Jinlan's grandfather." As soon as the three fiends finished speaking, their attacks became even more ruthless. They wanted to kill this person with every move. The three people from the Blood Sword Talisman sect were already half dead. In addition, they had been on the road for the past few days, which had caused their injuries to worsen. Now that they were attacked by the pockmarked youth and his two companions, their injuries became even more serious. They did not even have the strength to resist. Soon, the pockmarked youth and his two companions killed the three people on the spot. You three, wait to be hunted down by the Sword Talisman sect." Before the three people from the Blood Sword Talisman sect died, their faces were filled with anger as they said these words with resentment. "The person who can injure them must not be simple. Let's leave immediately so that we won't be discovered by the person who injured them." After killing the three people from the Blood Sword Talisman sect, the pockmarked youth said to the three demons and the two demons with a dignified expression. At this time, the three demons found an identity card in the shape of a small sword on Zhu Dongyang's body. "Hiss! Big brother, we seem to have made a mistake." Looking at the sword-shaped identity card in his hand, the three demons immediately gasped and panicked. The Sword Talisman sect, seeing the identity card in the three demons' hand, the pockmarked youth and the two demons' faces twitched and their eyes flashed with intense worry. These people were really the disciples of the Sword Talisman sect. Chapter 672. You've actually guessed my identity. Upon seeing that Mo Qingyun had guessed his identity, the Shadow Talisman sect disciple uttered these words in shock. After uttering these words of shock, this person walked out from the thicket and appeared in front of Mo Qingyun. However, his Shadow Talisman doppelganger did not appear and remained hidden, waiting for an opportunity to deal a fatal blow to Mo Qingyun. After this person walked out, he looked at Mo Qingyun with an arrogant expression and said disdainfully, "Originally, a brat with a cultivation at the initial stage of the sixth seal stage like you is not qualified for me. Chou Zitao, to take action." After Chou Zitao's words fell, he slightly paused, licked his lips, and continued. "However, the nearly 1 billion points on you are worth a trip." Chou Zitao, ranked 11th on the leaderboard, after knowing the other party's identity, the smile on Mo Qingyun's face immediately became more radiant as he said, "If I obtain your 300 million points, I will be able to surpass the invincible blade. Finally, I've caught a big fish. Brat, does this mean that you still want to snatch my points?" Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, Chou Zitao unconcernedly smiled, his expression turning colder as he said, "If that's the case, I'll let you experience the power of our Shadow Talisman doppelganger." After Chou Zitao's words fell, a cold smile surfaced from the corners of his mouth as his figure swiftly attacked Mo Qingyun. However, Chou Zitao did not fight Mo Qingyun head-on. Instead, his figure swiftly moved and circled around Mo Qingyun. Chou Zitao's movements were extremely quick. In a short while, only his afterimages could be seen rapidly moving. It's the Shadow Talisman sect. This time junior brother Mo is in trouble. Upon seeing Chou Zitao's body transform into afterimages, Mo Qingyun's face immediately revealed a worried expression as he anxiously said these words. Upon hearing Mo Qingyun's words, to one side, Hejilan's expression also tensed up as she worriedly said, "Based on Chou Zitao's strength, he can at least form 5 Shadow Talisman doppelganger. Even a 7th seal practitioner would find it difficult to pull off a sneak attack with 5 Shadow Talisman doppelganger at the same time." At this moment, while Mo Qingyun and Hejilan were worried, chi, streaks of dim cold light, accompanied by subtle sounds of breaking through the air, quietly attacked Mo Qingyun. Primordial demonic sound, Pipa Talisman. Sensing the movements around him, Mo Chingyun did not dare to hesitate and immediately summoned the primordial demonic sound Pipa Talisman. As soon as the primordial demonic sound lute talisman was summoned, it emitted a magical sound wave that spread out like water ripples. Under the impact of this magical sound wave, Chozitao immediately let out a muffled groan, and his body's speed slowed down a bit.